Hi everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel Zero Analyst. This is the video one of our Power BI resume project series. Now, if you do not have any idea about Power BI, still you will be able to do this project along with me and you can include this project in your resume. In this video, we're going to build a super highly interactive dashboard for a company called Costco, which is a global retailer company in the US and Canada. So let me turn off my face and let me show you the project that you're going to build in this video along with me. This is the dashboard that you're going to build along with me in this video. Now if you see this dashboard already looking really amazing. The reason is that it is looking very simple and very easy to understand. Anyone can analyze the data using this dashboard. So this dashboard is really awesome because of the colors. If you see, we are only selecting very limited colors and it is advised that you should always select very minimum colors. And if you see, we have a dark background and along with dark background, this color is really kind of looking good. And we are using red and this colors and which is a logo colors you can see. So we have the data set for 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023 and 2024. So this is a filter which is by the year and this is one of the most important filter of this dashboard. If you select the data for 2020, you can see everything is being filtered for 2020 and we have this total revenue, we have this total profit and the total quantity. These are the top main 3 KPI for this business. We have this here which is revenue by the regions and these are the region which we have. Here we have a bar chart which tells revenue BS profit and you can see different regions and how the revenue and the profits are going. We have a line chart which shows the revenue progress starting from the Jan 2020 and we have a target which is a fixed target for the first year. And for the second year, you can see the target is based on the last year sale. So last year sale and you can see sometime we achieve the target, in some month we have not achieved the target. So very easy to analyze and this is a line chart you can see. You can also kind of zoom in a little bit using this zoom bar which makes it really interesting to analyze the data for the end users. We need to always consider who's going to use our dashboard. For the end user, we need to make it as simple as it is possible and we can deliver as much as insight, that is possible, right? We have a gas chart which shows the target and the order achievement. So if you see the target was 2090 and the achieved which is 2102. So we are behind the target in the year of 2021. So we have used also a donut chart which is to show the contributions of different segment. And if you see different segments is showing different contributions, like consumer is contributing to 55% of the revenue of 2021. Now we have very interesting which is called metrics. And if you see, we are getting by each product, we are getting some measures. So we do have a total revenue for each product and we do have a total orders for each product, total quantity and the profit. Now interesting thing is that if you just click on it, and you would be able to see the product that is making loss, that is in highlighted red colors, and the product that is making highest profit, that would be highlighted this dark light green colors. Now if you see here, we do have some bars. If you just click on it, the product that is making highest orders would be kind of giving the highest bar, and the product that is making less orders, that would kind of show very less, kind of this bar sign, right? Now at the end, we do have a map chart. So in the map chart, they can just hover the mouse and they would be able to see in which state they are having more kind of, you can say, revenue and some other informations like what is the number of orders they have, what is the total profit for different states. So where they are making more profit, it is highlighted in red colors. Where they are making less profit, it is highlighted, light red colors, right? And where it's blank, it is kind of this dark gray colors, and here like little less revenue. Okay. Now one more super interesting thing about this project is that I have created a filter pane. So if in case somebody want to filter further, they can click on it, which is called filter pane. So it is going to give a new filter pane from where they can filter further. Okay, now they can select by a specific category. So they can select category like maybe computers, and you can see they would be able to kind of analyze further, like in that specific category for this specific year, how much they have achieved, right? They can select a different category, like they can select a segment. Okay, and you can see kind of, they would be able to analyze it, right? So they can select anything that they want to select and they would be able to analyze the entire data. So this is what we are going to create. Now, the interesting thing here is that you can even close it and it is going to be hidden, and you can see the filters are still applied. If you want to clear all the filters, you can just click on this clear filters, and this is how the filters are going to be clear. Now, one more super interesting thing about this project which make this project perfect is that this KPI. So this little KPI, the text that you see, this is comparing the data compared to the last year. So if you see here, right now it is showing 71% less than the last year sale. So whatever the last year sale was, and the latest year sale is less than 71% of the last year sale. And if you see same way, less than 71% profit and 28k less orders compared to the last year's. So this is in the quantity. Now to check it, you can select any specific year, let's say 2020, and obviously there is no last year sale because the earliest year that we have, which is 2020. And if you see, we have a no sale last year mentioned, right? Now if you see here, we have achieved like 448k thousand sales and 242k sales as a profit, and this is the total quantity that we have done in 2020. So let's go ahead and see now for 2021. If you see in 2021, so we achieved kind of 0.8% less than the last year, because the last year sale was 448 and here it is kind of 447. So same way, we didn't do much profit, but 1% kind of more than last year's, and the quantity is kind of only 0.4k more than last year. So when this profit is more than kind of 2% or 5%, it is going to be in green colors, and this arrow is going to be upside. Okay, so let's go ahead and see. So if you see for 2020, it is kind of 36% more profit, so it is in green colors, and the arrow you are seeing, it is upside. Okay, and if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button, also like the video and share your thought in the comment box. So let's see the project requirement, and then we will be starting from scratch. So if you see, the company name is called Costco, which is a global wholesale retailer company offering different range of product, and they are known for because of their quality, right, and their pricing. Now if you see, you are working as a data analyst at Costco, and your task is that it says that they have given you access to their sales database, which is for last 5 years. Your job is to analyze the data and uncover insights such as which product performing well in which year, which categories generating more profit or losses, and which regions are doing excellent. You need to create a real-time dashboard to share with the management, enabling them to track their business goals and make informed decisions. So this is the task what you have, and right now we will be starting. So first, we need to identify the key performance indicator for the business, like what is driving the business, like is it a total returns, is it a total profit, is it a total revenue, is it a customer satisfaction. So different company has a different KPI. We need to first understand the domain and understand what is driving the business, right? First, you need to very sure with your objectives, then you can build amazing dashboard. Once you understand the business objective, you can start with the data cleaning process, and we will need to kind of create multiple columns as well based on the requirement, and finally we will come up with the amazing dashboard like this. Now we will also need to select the layout, select the colors based on how you want to present it, what kind of dashboard you want to create. Again, that depends on the business and KPI, how many KPI you want to include it, how many charts you want to include it. Now for this project, I have already done my research. So based on the company logo, I have kind of selected this layout and this design, which looks really amazing. And again, for your projects, you may select something else, but for this project, you can just select this one only. Maybe for different projects, you can kind of do some research, like which colors should I select, what the charts I should be selecting, and all these are like based on the business requirement. Now we have the design ready, the color ready, and let's go ahead and jump into the project. Let's first see the data set, and then we're going to start how to design the dashboard using Power BI. Now I have the data set. So first, let's see the first table, which is called customers. And in the customers table, it seems we do have something called customer ID. We have a customer name, we have a customer segment, country, state, postal code, and regions. So we have a lot of informations here which we will be using. Let's go ahead and see our next table. So next table is going to be, this is the product table. In the product table, we do have a product ID, and we do have a product name, we do have a category, we do have a subcategory, unit price, and the COGS. So these are the informations we do have. This table may have a duplicates as well. We need to identify that. Now what you can see here is that we do have a unit price and the COGS. So COGS means purchasing cost, and unit price means selling cost, right? So this is about the product table. Let's go ahead and see our sales table. So in the sales table, we have a 5 different data sets. All are this CSV data sets. Let's go ahead and see the first data, which is for 2020. And if you see for 2020, we do have the data which is with the order ID, and we do have a order date, we do have a ship date, we do have a ship mode, customers ID, product ID, quantity, and the discount % rate, right? So here we do have a discount. So it seems like in some sale we have given discount, in some sale we have not given discount, right? Problem is that we do not have a unit price or the selling price here, right? But we do have the quantity and we do have the product ID. So basically based on the product ID, I can use a XLOOKUP or VLOOKUP to get the product selling price from this product table, right? This is the product ID 965. For this product, I can get the product unit price and the COGS, and that is from basically the product table, and I can multiply with the quantity minus the discount, and that's how I am going to get basically the net sale. So this dataset may contain null or duplicates, so we need to consider that as well. And everything looks fine here. We do have all this column till discount. Let's go ahead and see the 2021 datasets, which is the next year datasets. And let's wait while it get open. So this is the 2021 dataset. So it looks like all the datas are similar. So we do have a date, which is the ship date, and order date. We do have a ship mode, customer, quantity, discount. So everything looks fine. Let's go ahead and see the next data, which is going to be 2020. So we are going to use the Power BI Power Query tool to clean the data. We're not going to use Excel because this project is completely for Power BI, and we are going to use a Power BI to clean the data and do all these things that we need to do for this project, right? So this is also fine. So let's check the next year data set, which is going to be for 2023. This also, I guess, looks perfect. Let's go ahead and open it, and let's also open it, right? So it looks like 2023 data is also looks fine, and let's check for 2024 data. All right, so 2024 data also looks same. We do have the same number of columns, and the data types also looks same. So we can simply go ahead and use this data. So right now, let's close everything out, and what we are going to do is that you can see all the sales data are in one folders. So we are just going to connect this folder with our Power BI, so that if in case we get new data, we just need to put the data into this folder. So we don't have to do any cleaning or anything. Everything is going to work automatically. So if I remove any data from here, the dashboard is going to update automatically, and we will be getting the customers and the product data from here. Also in this project, we are going to use two icons, which is called filter icon. You can download this icon free from the Google. We do have the logo, which is here, and this is a transparent background logo, and we do have the color code. So we are going to follow this color code to build our dashboard. So these are the only three colors that we're going to use because of the logo, right? So again, based on your research, you can design your layout and you can select the colors. So this is the colors that I have selected for this project. So let's first go ahead and start. So we can do it from here, right? Let's go ahead and type Power BI. And let's go ahead and launch Power BI, and then we are going to save the file. Okay, so I will change my Power BI setting to United States, so that I don't have to kind of do much of formatting change while I'm creating some measure. Now I have launched Power BI, and let's go ahead and say blank report. So we do have the blank reports ready. Let's go ahead and press the save icon to save this blank report. Let's give a name called Costco sales, and I would say report 2. This is the name I am giving. You can select the folders where you want to save it. I want to save it in the desktop, so I'm just going to select the locations, which is desktop, and I will click on save. Now if you see, it is saved right now, which is at 3 p.m. and I will just go ahead and kind of change the settings to United States. So for that, you can simply go to this file and go to this options and settings, and go to this options, and here you will be having some regional settings which you need to change. So let's go ahead and go to this regional settings and change it to United States, the language, and this is already changed. Here also you can change it to United States. So all these settings are changed for me, which is perfect. Let's go ahead and start importing the data, right? Now if you want to know the types of this data, so this is seems to be a comma separated data, which is a CSV file. This is also CSV file. So all the files I have a CSV. So let's first go ahead and import this product table, right? So I would go ahead and select this more options from other sources, and I will select the all, and from here I have this text and CSV. I will select this and I will say connect. Now I can select the file manually, or I can kind of drag it. So let me go ahead and select the file. So I'm selecting the product file, which is in my this locations, and I will say open, and it is going to load the file, and I will be getting some pop-up, so which is a Power Query pop-up. It is saying, do I need to transform the data or I need to load the data? If I click the load the data, it is going to load the data in directly Power BI, which I do not want. I want to load the data in the Power Query, where I can do some transformations like cleaning in all, right? So let's click on transform data, and let's wait while it is loading the data in Power Query window. So this is a Power Query window that you can see here, which is an additional tool in Power BI or in Excel, which you can use to kind of clean the data, and it is going to save all the steps. So if in case in future any new products come, it is automatically going to update. You don't have to kind of recreate the dashboard. You can only do it if in case you need to add some new features in the dashboard. That's it. So we do have the product data, and if you see by default I have the header enable, which is perfectly fine. and I will just select this product ID and ensure that there is no duplicates. This is the first task I do whenever I kind of import any tables. So the first is the product table, and I can see every product should have their own product ID, right? So if in case I do have any duplicates, the same product ID, I would want that row to be deleted. So I can select this and I would go to this which is called home, and this is called remove rows, and from here I can click this option which is called remove duplicates. Okay, before that, let's see how many products we have. You can go to transform and you can click on count. It is going to tell you the count of product, which is 1618 products we have. And I can close this step because I want to go back to the previous step, and then I would want to remove the duplicates. So I would go to home, remove rows, and I would say remove duplicates. That is how it is going to remove the duplicate. If in case there is any duplicates, let's go ahead and check the count again, and it is saying still same. That means there was no duplicates. So I would still keep this step, because if in case we add any duplicates in the future, so this step is going to ensure that that specific row is being deleted. Now next, what I want to look for is that if there's any null values in the product ID. So for that, I can click this icon, and you can just assign, check if there is any null that you see, because it is only going to give you 1000 rows, and you can order it in descending, so you would be able to identify it if in case we have any nulls. This is the one step. We have another step also to find out. So let's see here as well also if you have any nulls. So I think we do not have any nulls, which is a great. Let's check for the category. So here also we do not have any nulls, which is perfect. Let's check for subcategory, and I guess here also we do not have any nulls. Let's check for unit price, and I think here also we do not have any nulls. Again, we may have a nulls, but we are not able to identify it. Let's assign it ascending orders, and let's see. No, and let's assign it in descending orders. There is no null. That is perfect. Let's go ahead and check the cogs, and if you have any nulls here, let's see in ascending or descending. So it seems there is no null. I think there is a null. Let me just assign it again. Let's check in ascending. No, if you have any null, it will come on the top when you change this order. So it seems there is no null, which is a perfect. And again, the second way to find out is that you can select this column, you can go to home, and you can go ahead and check with this is called replace values. So keep whatever you're looking for as empty, and you can put here as called null. Okay, now it is going to find the null in this specific column that you have selected, and it is going to replace it by this key which is called null. Right now you can click here and you can check if there is anything which is called this capital null, which you have tried replacing it, and you will see no. That means there is no null. Okay, so this is how you ensure that okay, this is perfect. Now next, what don't need to ensure is that all the data type is correct. So this is a text data. If you see ABC, it is fine. Even you can go to transform and verify it's a text. This is also text. This is also text. This is also text. This is a decimal, fixed decimal numbers, which we call currency. Okay, so this is a fixed decimal number. This is also fixed decimal number. You can also this dollar sign. This ensure that this is a currency data. So we will keep it as it is, right? Let's go ahead and import our next data, which is going to be customer data. So you can just right click here. You can say new query, and we would want to select the text and CSV file. You can select whatever the file you want to import. So we want to import this customers data. It is going to be a different table right now what we are importing. So again, it is giving you first 100 200 rows to verify it. Yes, we are importing the right data. So let's wait for some time, and I do have the customers data again here. So the first step I am going to do is that I would select the customer ID, because every customer should have their own customer ID, right? So I would ensure that no duplicate is there. So select this, and I would go to home, and I would say remove duplicates, and this is going to remove if there's any duplicates we have, right? Next, I would need to check in the name, do I have any nulls? So I guess we do not have any nulls. Let's quickly check in ascending orders. Okay, now sometimes it is possible that you may miss handling nulls, so we will come back and fix it whenever we see null in the dashboard. So it says there is no null. Let's check in the country or city, and it is also seems there is also no null, right? This is perfect. So next, what I want is kind of state. Let's see if in case any null we have, because this is important columns. We would want to analyze the data, create a map using this column. So we would need to ensure that there is no null, right? So cool, there is also no null. Let's check for postal code, not important. Let's check for the regions. Do I have any nulls? So I think we do not have any nulls. Okay, so which is a perfect. So we kind of deal with it. Now here's the problem. If you see, the country and the city's names are together. So what I can do is that I can split them into two columns. So just select this and go to this home, and you will have something called split column. That means you can split the column based on the delimiter. Even if you see, all the name has a kind of country dash then the city, right? You can also do it from the transform, or which is this one, or you can do it from home. So it is just going to kind of convert this into 2 columns. That is fine. It's fine. So let's select it and let's go to kind of split columns and by delimiters. By default, Power BI is going to automatically identify it's a dash, so which is here, and I would say okay. And you can see it has created 2 columns. One is called this one and one is called this one. So this one is called, which is called, I think, country. So let's go ahead and name it called country, and this one is going to be city column, right? And I think we do have a state. I would just mention it as a small letters. Postal code, I don't need it. Region, I will just mention in small letters. So let's make sure all the column names are small. Segment, okay. And this is again a best practice which I follow, and I don't need this postal code. That's the reason I'm not changing for this column. Now is the most important steps where we will be kind of importing the sales data, right? Now if you see in this folders, I do have kind of multiple files, which is kind of 5 files, right? I can import one by one, and then I can do append to kind of combine them all together, or I can simply import these folders. So it is automatically going to kind of combine them together. So if I have anything in the future, I can simply drag it in this folder and it is going to automatically kind of work. So the best practice would be simply getting the data from a folder instead of getting each and every file, because all the files are similar file, right? So what we will do is that we will say new query, and this time I am going to select which is called new query from, which is called folders, right? Let's go to more options, and you will have something called folder. Okay, so entire folder I'm going to import. Now it is important, you need to ensure that all the data are same type, otherwise you will be getting error. So we'll say connect. So I have selected the folder. This is where I have that folder which is called global sales. You can see it here, and I would say okay. And it is going to kind of give me again a dialog box, which is first giving me a kind of few rows as an example of the data. So it is saying that we do have 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24. All these are CSV file. So here you just need to click on combine and transform. We don't want to transform one by one. We want to combine all them together and transform, because all these are the same types of data. So we'll say combine and transform. And right now we are going to get this new data as a global sales. You can see the first 200 rows here. It looks everything fine. Let's go ahead and say okay. And it is going to create a new data set here by the name which is called global sales, right? So this is where we have the global sales data. Let's go ahead and clean this data, right? So we will need to clean this data, and this data has multiple different problems which we will identify one by one. So let's first see what is the total count of this global sales, like how many rows we have of combining 5 totals, their files together. So total row we have, which is 16,024. And first step I would do is that I would try to remove the duplicates by using this ID, which is called by using this column which is called order ID, because all the order will have a different ID, because it is a primary key. All the order will be having a different ID. If in case I do have more than one order with the same ID, the second one would be duplicates. So I would select this, and I'm going to say home and remove duplicates. If you're unsure, you can select all the columns and then you can remove duplicates, and this is how it is going to remove the duplicates. Let's go ahead and check the count right now. Earlier it was 16,000 something. Now if you see, it has reduced to 15,999 or 92. So this is how I ensure that okay, all the duplicates are gone. Now next what I would do is that I would check if we have any null values in this first column. We need to check one by one all columns. I would say assign in descending orders, and I do not see any nulls. Next I would check if there is any null values. So I would just go ahead and click this column, and I would just remove the empty rows. So you can select this column, and you can go ahead and check if we do have any nulls. You can check this way. If you have any nulls, you would be able to identify it from here. Assign it ascending or assign it descending. Okay, and if you have any nulls, you would already see it here. If you don't see it, what you can next do is that you can just click this option which is called remove empty. Okay, so this is going to remove all the empty orders that we have. Okay, next we would check for the order date, and do we have any nulls? Let's assign it ascending and descending, and we do not have any nulls, which is kind of great. Let's go ahead and check for the ship date, and do we have any nulls? Ascending and descending, let's all rate, and seems like there is also no null. Let's check for the ship mode, and let's click more, and let's see if you have any nulls. There is also no null. Let's check for the customer's ID. This is important columns. We need to make sure there is no null. Okay, this is one way. There is one more way to kind of quickly check. I will also show you that one as well. Okay, I would want to ensure that all the available techniques I have used to delete this null. Let's go ahead and see in the product ID, do we have any nulls? So I would just go ahead and assign it ascending and descending, and let's see if you have any nulls. So it seems we do not see right now. Okay, let's check for quantity. So for quantity, I'm sure there are some nulls. You can see we do have some nulls, so I would unselect it, and this is how I will ensure that all these null rows are being deleted. Okay, you can assign it ascending or descending. This is how it will ensure that okay, there is no more null. Cool. So all nulls are gone. Let's check for the discount, which is our last column. Let's assign it ascending and descending. Let's see if you have any nulls. So right now we do not have any nulls, which is perfect. Okay, let's go ahead and now check the null the another way. You can go to this view, and here you have something called column quality. Okay, so it is going to give all the columns and their quality. If you have any nulls, you will be having the quality as a empty, like how many percent of empties are there in that column, right? So this is ensure that okay, there is no column with the error or empty. So this is how we can ensure that okay, everything looks great. Okay, so this is fine. Now let's go ahead and see what else we would need to do. Right now, if you see, we do have the quantity, we do have the discount, but we do not have the price, right, for the product that we have sold. So it is better to create two columns. One is called the total sale, which is our revenue, and one is called the profit columns, right? So again, we do have a discount, so we need to consider that in place while we are creating these two columns, which is important. Now how do I get this product unit price? Because I need to first find the unit price, then only I can create a total sale column, because unit price I need to multiply with the quantity, right? So for that I would be using a technique which is called merge, which is the same as like join. So based on the product ID, which is here, I will be doing a join with the product table, and I'm going to get the product price from that table and the COGS from that table, product table. Now the simple approach what you can do is that to get the product price, we can do a merge, which is going to be same as like join we perform in SQL. So based on the join, I will be doing a join between the product ID and the product ID in the product table, and I will be getting the COGS and the unit price, because based on the COGS I will be able to calculate the profit, and I will be able to calculate the net sale, which is going to be my revenue. Now these two are very, very important factors which I would want to consider. So what I will do is that I would just click on this table, go to merge, and here you have two options: merge as a new or just merge in the same table. In the same table I would want the unit price at the end, so I would say merge query, the first options. First table is already selected, you can see it here. I'm going to select the second table, which is going to be the product table. I need to tell what is the common column based on the join that I am doing, so I would say this. And if you see, it is already telling that what is the number of match that it can find, which is 15,918. Here I'm going to do an inner join to ensure all the product ID, only I need the sale where the product ID exists in both the table. Okay, and this is how I will be dealing with basically data integrity. So any cell where the product ID is missing, or where the product ID is not found in the product, I don't want to include that in this data, right? So let's select OK. And if you see, nothing happened, but I see two directional arrow and a table name something, a new column. So I would just click on here, and I will be selecting whatever the column I need from my second table. This is my second table, you can see, which is the product table. So now from the product table, I need the unit price and the COGS. These are the only two columns I need in this. So I would just select these two columns. Here we are getting the product unit price, you can see, from the product table, and COGS and from the product table. So let's give the name, which is called unit price, and let's give this name as a COGS. Now we have unit price and the COGS. Now we need to find out the net sale, right? So how we will be calculating the net sale is going to be, we need to multiply the quantity and the unit price, and then we need to minus the discount amount, right? So there's a functions which we can use to kind of do this. So let's go ahead and say add columns. I would want to add a column, so I would say custom columns, and I would be selecting call net, small letter, net sale. And here I'm going to use which is called the quantity first. Okay, quantity times which is called a unit price, which I got it from the product table. So I can simply say unit price. You can simply use the square brackets, or you can just select and insert it from here. I like this way better. And you just need to multiply with which is called 1 minus the discount portions. Okay, now you can check out these functions. Okay, this function is going to give you the net sale after minusing the discount. So what we are doing here is that we are saying, okay, quantity times unit price. So this is the net sale before the discount, and here we are again saying 1 means again quantity times this unit price, and from this one we are minusing the discount. So at the end this is going to kind of give you a net sale which you can verify. Let's go ahead and say okay. This is going to create a column which is called net sale. We would want to create a now column which is called profit. So the profit is going to be something similar what we have done. So we would go ahead and say custom column again, and let's name it called profit. And the profit is going to be, which is based on the net sale that we have created earlier. And from the net sale, we need to minus the COGS times quantity, like what is the buying cost of the product, right? So you would say COGS, and we would say times quantity, right? Let's say if we have sold two quantity, for two quantity, we need to find the COGS which you got from the product table, and we will be minusing from the net sale. That is how we will be getting the profit columns, okay? So we will say okay, and we got the profit column, we got the net sale column. So if you want to verify it, you can go ahead and check for one specific product. Here we have a 14 quantity for the $5, and if you see we do have, which is here, right? So 14 into 5, you can multiply, you would be getting this, right? So this is how you can verify it. You can select maybe any other one quantity product, so order it in ascending. So this is the one quantity, and the price is, which is $28, and the COGS is kind of 10, and one quantity obviously, and discount is like 10% somewhere. So if you see it is $25 after the discount, and the COGS is, the profit is $14 because the buying cost was just $10, right? We sold it for kind of $25, so obviously $14 is the profit. So everything looks fine. I would just set this column to column data types to currency. For that I would go to transform, and I would change the data any to kind of, which is called fixed decimal. So you will be getting a dollar icon. That is how you know these two columns are changed as a currency. So I think this is the only transformations what we needed. If in case you want to do any other transformations, you can go ahead and do it. So I would just want to ensure that there is a, few columns which are important, like the customers column here, like no nulls. So I would just assign it ascending or descending to check if there's any null, and I would also click this which is called remove empty. So this is how it is going to ensure that all the empties are kind of removed, right? Maybe now we do not have, maybe in futures we do have. So for the product also I will do the same. For quantity, I guess I already checked it manually. There is no nulls at the moment. We have already removed that, so I will just continue as it is. So everything else looks great. Now what I will do is that I will only select the columns that I want to load in the data model, because I do not want to load everything in the data model. So what I will do is that I will go to home, and I would, people use this button which is called remove columns. Okay, this is the incorrect options. Why? Because if there's any new column, that is going to load automatically. So if you select choose, so every time only those columns are going to be loaded to your models. Even if there are new columns in the new table, it is not going to mess up your dashboard, right? So we will just say we do not need the source, and we do not need the COGS and unit price now, because we got this net sale and profit which we needed. And I think discount also we do not need right now. And what else I do not need? I do not need, which is called the ship date, maybe, right, for now, but maybe in future I want to create some KPI, so I would use it. So rest everything looks perfect for me right now. I would say okay. So limited columns, and I would say load the data sets. Okay, so it is going to load the data sets to the data model. Now we would need to do a data modeling. So data modeling, if you do not know, it is same as like SQL ERD model, which you do like entity relationship diagram. We just need to tell how each one table is connected with another table. By default Power BI is going to create one, but if you don't see it, you can kind of do it and just make sure the data model is correct. So if you see it has already created the data models, we would just verify the relationship. So our sales table is our, I think, the child table, and these are to the parent table. So looks fine. One to many. That means one product will have multiple sales, and one customer will have multiple purchase. Here we may have a duplicate product ID, I mean the same product ID multiple times, because multiple customer can buy the same product, right? Same way we can have the same customer ID multiple times, because again same customer can purchase multiple times, right? So every time we need to mention the customer ID. So if you just hover here, it says that how the join is done. If you hover here, it says how the relationship is. If you want to inactivate something, you can just go to which is called manage relationship. You can do it from here, or you can just double click on it. Okay, it is going to give you a panel from where you can change the relationship. So everything looks fine, and let's go ahead and now start, right? So this is what the thing we want to do. So we have like three things here. One is called tables, where you can visualize the data and create new columns if you want, and we do have data models where we have seen right now, and we have the reports where we are going to build our dashboard, right? So this is our main dashboard. You can create multiple dashboard like darker version, light versions, all these things you can create here. All this chart that you see we do have here. Now we will be creating some measures which we call DAX, and DAX are same as like formula that you write in Excel to kind of do some of the tasks, like maybe it is sum, average, you know. So all this we call it a DAX in Power BI, which is little bit simplified and little bit advanced, I would say. Okay, so let's go ahead and see how we would start, right? Let's first go ahead and see if in case we need anything else. Yes, we do need two tables which we will be creating. So one table I will be creating which is as a date table to manage all the date related things, like calendar related things. It could be quarter, it could be month, because I would be analyzing the data by month, or maybe the quarter, or maybe the month start date. So I prefer to create my own date table instead of using by default one. Okay, so for that what you can do is that you can go here and there is options called new table. You can create a new table, and new table I want based on this, which is called the date. In the sale table there is a order date, I think I do have, which is called this. Based on this I will be creating a new table. So I would be naming it called maybe date underscore table. Okay, now this is a DAX which I am writing. So I would just go ahead and use a very simple approach which is called add columns. Okay, now here you need to first give your logic how you would want to kind of create the table. So I would say that there is a function which is called calendar auto. So that is going to create an automatic table based on the date columns. Okay, so if you have more than one column, then you need to use a calendar functions. But as I already have only one column, which is the order date, I would simply use a calendar auto. So this is the first thing I would want to do. I would just give a comma to add one more columns, and the column name has to give in this kind of double quotes. Okay, so we would say here column what I want to create from where. So I would say here from this date, right? So earlier I have created date column using this calendar auto. That one I'm using as a date, something like it. Okay, so here you don't need to tell which table it is coming from. It is going to automatically check all the columns and tables, and it is going to create a calendar auto automatically. It is going to create a calendar based on the first and the last date from your entire data sets and data models. I would say okay, and let me go ahead and show you how this looks like. Okay, let's go to the table view. If you see, we do have created a date columns based on this calendar auto functions, and it is giving me the year, right? You can click here and you will see how many years are there, 2022, 2024, right? Everything looks perfect. So now next what I need one more columns which is called quarter, right? So I would need to create a quarter column. So I would say QARTR quarter. Okay, again I would be giving a comma here, and I would be using a format functions here. Okay, because I need a quarter something like this, which is called Q, then the quarter number, and then along with the year. So I usually prefer this format. So I would go ahead and say that format of what, which is called date. From the date I need this functions which is called Q, then YY. Okay, now I am going to simply close it and I would enter it. So it is pretty much good. You can see I do have the quarter, but I need a Q sign here before this 3, right? So for that I would need to do a concat, text concat functions, and before this format you can use this end sign to format, do a concat with another text. So texts are entered inside double quotes. You don't need to give a comma like Excel's, and you can just use this n. It means this Q is going to be concatenated with the Q. This Q is going to return the number from this date, which is the quarter number, and this is the year from this date, right? This is the date column, which is the first column. So let's go ahead and say enter. Quarter is ready. Next what I need to do is that a month column. So I usually do not prefer month, but I would be preferring something called month start date, because I would want to kind of analyze the data as a line chart. So month start date makes it really easy. So I would say kind of, which is called month start date. Okay, you can even use a month, but if you want to use a continuous data, so it is better to use month start date. So same as like date trunc functions we have in SQL, which you can use. Now what I will need to do is that I would need to simply use some logic here. So I can use the date functions, which is going to ask me the year, month and day. So here I will be creating a date. Basically the date is going to be first of the month, which is going to be the, let's say like for Jan it's going to be 1st Jan, for Feb it is 1st Feb. So every month I would be concatenating this date to the first day of the month, and then I can kind of do analysis by that column that I'm going to create. Okay, so I'm saying year is going to be the year from this date. Okay, this is fine. Now I need to give the month, so I would say month is going to be month from this date, right? This is fine. Next I would say that day is going to be, which is called a day from date, right? So I need to say date here, and this is fine. I would just close the brackets and my month calendar is ready. So I do have right now, which is called month start date, right? So if you see, for every month I just have the first date of the month, right? So here I need to say date should be 1, not the day, because I want to truncate it to 1. So for every month, it is for August the 1st, right? It was kind of here. If you see, it was kind of 2 of August, still the month date is showing first. So every month and the date, for every date, the date is truncated to the first day of the month. Now using this, I can analyze the data. So my calendar is ready. Next task is going to be kind of making this calendar as a kind of which is called primary date calendar table, and we will be doing a data modeling here. So this is, I'm going to drag it from this order date to this, and this is how it's going to build a relationship with them. So that's going to be many to one, because one date will have a multiple cell. So now my data model is done. I'm just going to select this date calendar as a primary. So if you already see, this is already showing this little icon as a calendar icon, right? So right click and click on which is called make as a date table. Okay, I will say okay. It is going to verify quickly, and it is done. I will say save it, right? So my data model for date is done. And next what I want to do is that I would just save my work so that I don't miss it. Now next I will need to create a measure table where I will be doing all the calculations, and I will maintain all the calculations in one table. Now if you see here whatever you see, it is called the data, right? Data kind of database you can say, and all the tables would be in a separate name. Inside it you would be able to access all columns. You can drag a columns and you can explore the data. For example, I want to see kind of how many total sales are there, right? Or quantities are there. So I can simply drag any of this which is called chart, maybe the KPI card. Okay, so and then I can select a quantity column. It is automatically doing going to do a sum of the quantity, which is 49. Okay, if you drag it, maybe something else, maybe customer's ID, you can see one of the customer's ID, right? So it is using Power BI automatic measures, so you don't have a way to customize it. That's the reason we're going to use our own measures. Okay, so measures are the functions that you use in Excel. So let me just give you an example. Let's say we do have a 2024 data, right? Here I want to see what is the minimum quantity or what is the maximum quantity. So I'm going to use a functions like this, right? Called max on this column, right? On this column, right, I will be using a max functions, right? That's going to give me the maximum quantity, which is 14, right? So maximum quantity is 14. So this function that you see, we can call it measures or DAX in kind of Power BI, right? Because you Power BI don't call it functions, we call it DAX. The full form is called data analysis expressions. Now we will be creating a table where we are going to maintain all the DAX. Okay, so we'll go to data models, and here your options, which is called table, new table. Okay. And we will be giving a table name here. So we will call it, which is called measures underscore table. So I will be giving a name something like it. Now here you first need to create empty tables. So for that you cannot create an empty table. So we will be using something called generate series of functions, and it is going to create an empty table with 1 columns. So I would start with -1, and I would go to 1, and step is going to be 1. Okay. So this is how table is going to be created, and you will see the table will automatically get the measure sign, which is here. So this is how you know, okay, this is the measure table that it has created, right? Now in this table I have a column which is called values, and if I show you, it will have these numbers that I have just given, right? So the good thing is that this table already gives the icon. If you see, this is the calculator icon. That is how I know, okay, this is my measure table. So all the measures I am going to include in this, right? So the measures are going to be like the finding total revenue, finding total profits, okay, and all those things we will be maintaining in this measure table, right? So we do have now all this 5 table. Now measure table, you don't have to do kind of data modeling, because this is just some calculations, like some logic that you will be storing in here. For example, let's see one of the important measures that we want to create. So we want to see what is the total revenue, right? Now, if you know that there is a sales table we do have, which is a global sales, and in the global sales, I do have kind of, let's first rename this global sales to kind of sales, right? I would just want to keep a simple name. I will go to transform, and I'm going to name this global sales to kind of sales, right? Small letters. and I'm going to kind of close and reload in my models because I do not want to keep a long name. So it is now loaded. Let's now go ahead and create the very most important measures, which is going to be the total revenue, right? So how do you find the total revenue? If you have this data in Excel, you would just do a total on this one column, right? Right now you have this unit price, this column, right? Unit sale, right? So you would be doing simply sum on this unit sale column. Let's say you have a unit sale of $5, $10, and let's say $11, right? You will just use a sum, right? Something like this on this column, right? So this is a simple one column measure, so we will be using simple sum here. Okay, so let's go ahead and create our very first measures, which is called DAX. I usually call it measures, but you can call it DAX as well. So for that, you just need to select this table, and then you can right click on it and you can click on measure. That's how this measure will go in this side, this table. Okay, now we will go ahead and here we will be giving a name called maybe anything that you want to give. So I'm going to name it called total revenue. Okay, always gives a very relevant name because you'll be able to find by the name only itself whenever you need it, right? So let's go ahead and see how do you want to find the total revenue. So the total revenue is going to be based on this sales table of the net sale column. So we'll be using a simple one page, which is called sum of and sales, which is going to be sale of this net sale, this column, right? So same as like Excel, you are selecting the table, the column, and you are using a sum because it's a one column. So you will be able to use simple sum. If it is a multi-column, you want to do a rollable kind of calculation, then you need to use a sum X. So we'll say sum, and this is going to give us the total revenue. So by default, you can see it is already showing as a currency, which is perfect. And also it is in the measure table. So our first measure is ready, which is this, right? Now we will go ahead and see if in case it is working or not. Let's select this and drag this, which is called total revenue. Okay, so you first need to unselect whatever it is being selected and then select this. So it is saying the total revenue is 2.95. Okay, now let's say we want to find out what is the total quantity. So this is our second measure that we're going to create. So we'll be selecting it and we will say new measures, and we are now going to use the same technique, but we will be using the quantity column, right? So we will say total quantity. Okay, let's go ahead and say sum. Again, it's a one column, so I would say that sales of quantity, and which is the sum, and I will say enter. So it is going to create one more measures, which is called total quantity. Now I need one more measure, which is called total profit, and I will just go ahead and say new measures, and we will be using which is called total profit. Okay, if you want to go next line, you need to press the shift and enter. Okay, this is how you can go to next line. You can also add a comments here by just pressing control and this select button, and you can say write something, whatever you want to write it. So this functions gets total profit based on sales, which is called profit column, right? So this is a comment. This is going to be ignored, same as like the coding language, right? So we'll go ahead and say sum of which is called sum of the same one column, which is called the profit, because all these are one column, so we do not need to use sum X. Okay, we will say okay. Let's go ahead and verify it, right? So if in case everything is working right. So we do have all these three measures that we need for our these projects. So we will say Control C, Control V to create more KPI, Control C, Control V, and let's kind of select this for maybe which is called total quantity. So if you see total quantity is showing 49,000, let's select this for maybe total profit, which is this one, 1.58 millions, and let's select this for kind of total revenue. So everything is working fine. Now the interesting thing is that you can select a different chart. Let's say I want to select a bar chart, which is a cluster bar chart. Okay, and I see you are getting the total revenue here, right, as a bar chart. Okay, now if in case you select a different things from any tables, let's say I want to see the total sale by different categories. Okay, I can select it, as we do have the logic which is getting us from here total revenue. So now by each category you are getting the total revenue. So this is how it is important. Okay, now we are having the total revenue for each of this category. If you want to explore it by maybe something else from the customer table, right, let's say by maybe kind of country, so you would see total revenue by country. I think we do have only one country, the second country is showing empty. And if you want to analyze it by which is called maybe regions, right, you can say regions and something like this. So this logic is going to simply check for each region total sale using the sum function that you have created, right? So this is the reason it is very important to create kind of this measures. Okay, because you cannot rely on the default just drag and drop functions. Okay, So all these steps are done. Now next step is going to be designing how we would want to kind of make our dashboard, right? So the most important part is comes here, right? So here we will start designing. Now this is the layout that you see. If you see this grid line, okay, so you need to make sure that your dashboard which is inside this grid line. Okay, so first steps that I will be doing is that I know few of the colors which I am going to use in this dashboard. So let's first go ahead and make sure this background is 100% black. So how do you change the entire background is that you can go to this format icon. So all this chart and formatting we will be using this and this only right now. So you go to this format icon and you can go to this wallpaper. From this you can change the color to 100% dark, which is this one. Okay, so it is now 100% dark. You can see the background. Next what we will do is that we will go to view and we will choose our own theme, customize our own theme. You have all this by default theme, so you can go to this which is called customize, and here you can add your colors that you want to use in this in this project. So the first primary colors which I am going to use, which I have already included, and that is going to be, which is this one, right? Let's go ahead and copy the code. So it is going to be 3cc2a7. okay, so let's go ahead and say this one, which is called 3cc2a7. this is the color I want to use as a primary color. So the secondary color is going to be my next color, which is going to be next one, which is I already know, it's called 1f 1f 1f. This is for the background purpose. Okay, and the third one I'm going to use, which is going to be my next colors. Let's see what is the next color that I want to use, which is the red one, which is 3cc2a7. okay, so let's go ahead and use this one, which is called 3cc2a7. okay, so this is fine. Now it is saying for negative numbers we want to keep it like same as it is. For positive number I would just change it to this which is this colors, or I would just keep it same as it is. Rest everything I would remain same. Okay, for this I can change it to 10%, but I would just keep it everything same. Let's click on apply and boom, that is done. Now what I need to do is that I would be creating a kind of shape which is up to here, where I will be keeping the logo here, because people read left to right. So I will keep the company logo here, and then I would be creating a kind of slicer, which is the year, which is the important part of this this project, because if somebody is analyzing the data, they would want to see by different years. So I would keep all the important kind of filter here, so which is the end user, for the end users, and then I would keep few KPI because people read which is left to right. So I will keep most important things here, basically the three most important KPI like profit, revenue, and the quantity. And then here I'm going to keep one chart, and maybe I'll be keeping like two more chart here, and one map chart here, and one or two more chart here. Okay, this is the task which I am going to do. Okay, start with the shape. So I will go to insert, and I'm going to say shape, and here you have two shape. You can just select this one, the first options. Okay, now if you see, by default it is giving this color to the shape, which I do not want to use it, but I will change it in some time. So let's go ahead and kind of select maybe the space on the top, maybe completely up to here. Okay, and drag it like this and keep it up to this. Okay, so this much is fine, I think, for the logo and the calendar. So I will be changing this color to kind of our primary colors. So you can select it, go to this, then you get this format pane. Okay, here you can do all the formatting. So I would first go to this shape style, and from here I would change the color to kind of our colors, which is called this one, 1f 1f 1f, right, the theme colors. So right now if you see, the black background is 100% darker, and this is kind of maybe 10% darker, so which kind of makes it really interesting. Okay, next I would want to do is some formatting. I do not want to give the borders, so I would just go ahead and say shape and style, and I'm going to remove this borders, but I'm going to keep this shadow. Okay, so again I would not keep the shadow for this, but for the future chart. Okay, so this looks, I think, fine. Again, if you want to keep the borders, you can keep it, but I think this is already perfect. So I am just going to say copy and paste it, because I need one more. Okay, so I'm going to just select, resize it, and here I'm going to keep kind of keep one more filter pen. So I would kind of need one more shape. So this is where I can add a kind of filter options. Okay, for the end user, so they can click and there's a filter pen. It is going to come out as a pop out, and they can filter the further if in case they want to do some more analysis. Okay, so this is all about the shape. Now you can use a shape and shadow, I mean that also makes interesting, but for this project I'm not going to use any other shape other than just these two. Okay, right now what I want to do is that I want to use a KPI card here, which is going to be my revenue, then profit, and then kind of total quantity. Okay, so this is what I want to do. So let's first go ahead and insert the logo kind of to start the project. So let's go ahead and say insert image. You need to first go to insert an image, what I want to do, and this is the logo. So I would just click the logo and I want to make it little small so that it can adjust in that area. So I would just keep it little more small. I think this is looks perfect. Again, you can just re-optimize it based on how you want to kind of make it. So I think go ahead and start with the KPI card, and in this KPI card I want to kind of resize it here. Okay, maybe here I want to keep it up to this size because I want to kind of consume 50% with this 3 KPI. Okay, so I will just keep it something like this, and I think little bit small what I want to do, and I would say Control C, Control B. We can do the formatting later on. Control C, Control B. Okay, so this 3 KPI what I want to keep, and here I would want to keep a kind of bar chart. Okay, so make sure they are in the same align. So you can select them all and you can go to this format and align on the top, which is called top align. So they would be in the same line, and also they would have equal distributions. So you can just say horizontally distributed equally. Okay, so this is fine. Next what I want to do is that I would want to select the KPI what I want to drag here. So here I would want to keep it, which is called total revenue, which I created the measures earlier. So select this KPI, go to this total revenue and select it. You can see the total revenue. Select this one and go to KPI and select the total profit, which is the next important of the business. Now this is again based on this project. If you're working on any project, whatever the important KPI, you can keep it on the left side. We will see the total quantity. Okay, so looks fine already. Now I would just do some formatting. So I would want to kind of make sure that these colors are changed as per our kind of themes. So the background I would change for this. I would say select it, go to here, and I would go to call out. First of all, I want to remove this total revenue that you see here. So I would want to keep my own, and I can remove it or I can keep it. If you want to keep it, I would just again, that's on you how you want to keep it. I'm going to remove it, and I would be using my own. Go to call out is this numbers that you see. We would want to kind of change it. So I use a font which is called Seago semi bold. Okay, so this is what I want to use it. The size I don't want that too big, but maybe 30 will look fine, but maybe kind of 40 what I'm going to use. So 40 is fine, and the colors I would want to, which is our theme colors, is this one, and this is fine. Next what I want to do is that I want to change the background colors. Okay, for that I would just go to this, which is called general and effects. From here the background I'm going to check it, which is called 1F. Okay, our theme colors. Okay, so this looks already interesting, similar with like our logo. Next what I want to do is that I would go ahead and kind of change the shadow. Right, I will keep the shadow but like little bit of red colors. So I would go ahead and select the red colors. I think the red color is not showing here. We did selected the red, so I will just go ahead and check in the themes, do you have the red colors or not. Right, so I will just go to themes again, which is called customize current theme, and I think the red is not added, so I will be adding the red colors here. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what is the code. 3cc2a7. right, so we will just go ahead and put it here, which is called 3cc2a7, which is our second. Okay, I think I did an incorrect code, that's the reason it is not showing. So let's go ahead and check what is the code for this. Okay, I think this code is incorrect, so I am going to just get the code. Okay, the correct code is E4042C. This is the correct code. I will be kind of correcting that, and the black one is called 1F. So everything else remains same. So I will just select save. Okay, now I would just need to kind of change this shape to kind of, which is the same, which is the black one. Right, I want this one also to the black one, and this one I would just change the, which is called background, to kind of, which is the black one. Okay, cool. So everything is back to normal. Now what I want to do is that I would want to add a shadow for this KPI card. Okay, so I like this shadow, which is pretty much simple. You can go to effect and you can just turn on the shadow and select the red color, which is our icon, and you can change it to inside. Okay, and you would have something like this, which is, you can see this make little interesting, but we do not want that much reddish, so you can kind of recustomize it, maybe little bit of less reddish what you can select. Okay, so this is what I like about it. So I will go to shadow, and from here I would just select maybe little reddish. This is too less, maybe something like this. Okay, so this makes, I think, perfect. Okay, so I'm using, from here I'm using this, which is called, I think this one, which is third one, right? So third reddish, like 30% of our colors, right? 20% of our lighter colors. Okay, so this is fine. Next, same format I want to use it for here as well also. So I would simply go ahead and say format, and use it here, also format, use it here. Okay, so it is going to just use the same format. I don't have to do it for all of them. Okay, so next what I want to do is that I want to add a kind of a bar chart which tells that each regions and the total revenue and the profit. Very simple one, which is a cluster bar chart. So I'll be using a cluster bar chart here, and I'm going to select it here, and let's keep it something here. Okay, and let's make sure that these are in 50%, so I think I need to make them little smaller. So let's go ahead and change the size a little bit more. Let's first make sure that they are in the same size. So I would want it is in the same size, like up to this much, which is, I think, fine. Okay, the bar chart I want to keep it like up to 50% of this space. So till here I think it is fine. So for this KPI I would be changing the size. So let's go to settings and do some formatting in the properties. So width I want to change it kind of 200. Okay, so let's say 200. Go to alignment and make sure that they are kind of close enough with each other. Okay, so this much is fine, and I'm going to just make it more closer. Okay, make sure that they are in the same line. So I would just go ahead and say alignment, distribute equally, and the top align again. Okay, so now they are in the same line, and this one I would be using it, which is for the bar chart. So I have selected the bar chart. What I want to select is the region, which is going to be for my customer, right? So customer regions. Now the region is the category which only have 4 categories. So this is one of the good options to kind of explore the data using a bar chart. Okay, based on the different columns, you can define which chart is going to be best fit. Let's say if you have a very small categorical column, you can use a donut chart or maybe pie chart, right? So you'll be getting really nice one. If you have like 5 to 6, then you can use the bar chart. Okay, so again, for the time series analysis, you can use the line chart. So different data you can analyze using it different chart. Okay, so once you build 2 or 3 project, you would already get the idea which one to use where. So I'm selecting regions. I'll be selecting 2 measures, which is going to be my revenue. Okay, this is my revenue, and I would be selecting my profit. Okay, everything looks fine. I would just use the same formatting here as well also. So everything is kind of pretty much done, and I will be doing some of more formatting but later on. But right now it is already looking great, and I'm going to just increase the size a little bit more here for this one. Okay, so maybe up to this. Okay, so this is what I want to do, and for this I think they are already looking fine. I mean, I would be adding some of the things on the top. So for now it is looking fine. Okay, so let's go ahead and select our next chart that is going to be analyzing the data based on the line. Okay, so line chart. So line chart is useful to analyze the data based on the kind of, you can say, the time. Okay, if you want to analyze that how the business is doing based on the time, that you can analyze using line chart. So we will be selecting this one, which is the simple line chart, and I'm just going to use kind of again another 30% of this space for the line chart, and I will be kind of putting it little down here and drag it maybe till this line. Okay, using the same format, I would just copy and paste it here. The format, just select the format, paste it here. I would need to first select the which is called month start date. Now using this month start date, you can simply select the month start date, and what you want to analyze in this line chart is the revenue, which you can see is creating amazing nice line already. But I would want to here create a target. Okay, now how I want to do a target is basically whatever the last year sale, that times kind of 1.5%. Okay, let's say last year we have done 1 million, so this year target is going to be kind of 1.5 million. So let's say in 2020 we have done, which is 12,000, right? So in 2021 our target is going to be 12,000 plus 1.5 times. Now in 2020, what is the target? Because you need to keep some target here. So in 2020, we will be keeping some random target, maybe some specific amount, right? So that is on you how much you want to keep it. But I think the average should be somewhere around 70,000 what I will be keeping it. So maybe 70 or something, we can keep it 65 something. And here it is going to be whatever the net kind of sale we have, and that is what is going to be our target times 1.5 times. Now this is, you can achieve it using simple DAX. Okay, now let me go ahead and go to DAX and let's see how we can achieve it. So let's go to the new measures. First, for this I need to find out what is the last year sale. Okay, so let's give a name call maybe, which is called revenue target. Okay, revenue target. And first of all, we need to find out the last year sale. Now how you find last year sale is going to be something like this. Okay, so you can simply use a calculate functions here, and you can use on this measures is called total revenue. So if you want to access any measures, you don't have to write the table name, because you can simply use this square brackets. So I'm saying calculate total revenue, and I will be giving my logic here like filter what I want to filter it out. So I would be selecting something called same period last years. Okay, so this functions is going to check the last year sales. Okay, whatever the date today you are, right? Let's say we are in the December of 2024, which is like 23 December. So it is going to check last year sale till today date. Okay, so basically the same range sale in this year and the last year. So last year sale it is going to return. This is what I'm filtering out using same period last year. And here I just need to give the date. So this is how it knows, okay, I need to check the last year sale. So date is coming from date table, and from the date table I will be selecting the date. So this is where it becomes so easy to kind of use the date table. If you do not have a date table, it will be very complex to use it. Because you have a date table created, you can simply use it and it is going to give you a last year sale. Okay, so this is how you got the last year sale. Now you would want to use this last year sale in your function, and that is how you will be getting the target. Okay, so what we're going to do is that we are going to create a variable. Now if you do not know what is variable, variable is a kind of, you can say, simple a name or text where we are going to store some value for some temporary time, and that we will be using in our functions later on. You can only access this variable here. So if you have used Python or SQL, you already know what is variable. It is very simple norm. So you need to set var and to create a variable, that's it. And you can give a name. So I will be giving a name called last year sale, and I'll be giving equals. So whatever I am entering, this is part of my variable. So this return which is a sale, and that is storing in this last year sale. So this is what returning last year sale I'm storing in this last year a sale variable. Okay, now whenever you are creating a variable, you need to write something called a return. Same as like in Python we use a print. Okay, and after return you can write whatever you want to return for this this KPI, for this measure, right? Sorry, for this measure, whatever you want to return. So for this measure, what we want to return is that first we want to check what is the last year sale and times 1.5%. That is what our target is, and this measure name is target itself, right? So we would want to check if the last year sale is empty, then we would give our manual target. Otherwise we will be using some other target, right? So how do you check? You can simply use the if logic, same as like Python if else logic. So I would say is blank. So using is blank, you can check if something is blank. So I'm saying if last year variable that I have created, is it blank? If that is blank, what do you want? We want to put a target something called maybe 70,000. Okay, 70,000, which is the manual target I am creating. Now how do you decide? Again, based on some analysis, if you see maybe something, right, 70, 50 something you can decide, because it is not going more than that, right? So you can decide it. This is the last year sale, which this is the initial year's target. Okay, so this is fine. We will say comma. Now we will go to next line, and here I am going to add if in case last year sale is not blank, what is the else logic? So else logic is going to be called last year sale, which is this one, and times 1.5%. Okay, so this is how it is going to return the target. Okay, so first it check the last year sale, it is store it here, then we use that last year sale. If it is empty, then we use 70,000. Otherwise we will be using 1.5 times of the last year sale. That is fine. Now let's go ahead and click on save. Okay, so this is it, and you can again check maybe 100,000. That is on you how much you want us kind of keep it, right? Let's go ahead and see save. Okay, so this function first create a variable, then we use that variable to kind of build our own logic. So we are done. Now I will be kind of using that measures I have created, which is called revenue target. Okay, so I will select this chart and I will be selecting revenue target, and you can see by default it has already created the amazing line chart. Okay, it has already everything in place. Okay, whatever we need right? So this is how you can analyze the data. So within quick second we have kind of got our revenue, target and revenue. So here the target, whatever the target, you can say it was a fixed target, but here the target is kind of working as a linear regressions, right? Whatever the last year target, based on that it is monthly dividing by itself. Okay, so this is how you get the line chart. Now we would want to kind of do some formatting here. So we'll go to settings and analyze this zoom slider, and I'll keep the x-axis enabled, y-axis disabled. So I have a little zoom icon using which my kind of end user can zoom in and analyze it as per however they want to analyze it, right? So this is fine. Next, what I want to do is that I'm going to be creating a gas chart and the donut chart here. Okay, so I will go ahead and kind of first make it a little more small. I think I will be making up to this, and then I'm going to use one more, which is called the chart, which is going to be my gas chart. So if you see there is a gas chart options, you can just select this one, and it is going to kind of give you a gas chart. Now in the gas chart you need to know few of the things. Okay, to create a gas chart you need to first have a target. Okay, like what do you want to track? So this is basically to track something that in a business you want to track. Okay, so we will be selecting like space something like this, and I can even increase it a little bit more if I want. Okay, or I can increase this width a little bit to make sure that these are in the same line. We will do the formatting later on. So let's first go ahead and see in the gas chart what I need to do. I need to have something called value, which I want to track, minimum and maximum value. So starting from minimum to maximum like this, and the target. So target what I want to track. Okay, so this is what I need to do. So the values is going to be, we want to track here the orders, the number of orders, right? Now how do I check the orders? I do not have any measures which is going to check the orders. So I will create a measures which is going to check the orders. It's a very simple counting the rows. Okay, so I will just name it called total orders, and I'm going to kind of keep it something called again simple which is called distinct count. Okay, and it's called distinct count. Okay, and you can simply say order table of the order IT. So one line calculations, and this function is going to give you the total orders. Now you can drag this total orders which is in the values, and if you see it is already created the gas chart, right? Now what you want is a little different. So we would want to kind of see by default it will be keeping this maximum value as a 32,000, and it doesn't know the target. So we need to keep some target for this in gas chart. So we can go to this settings, and in this gas chart here you can put the target manually. Let's say we wanted to achieve a target of, let's say, kind of 20,000 or 18,000. Okay, this is our target. So you can keep it target. You can see it is showing, okay, here was the target and you achieve kind of till here. But why it is showing double? Because by default it shows the double. So you can give a maximum values that maximum I want to achieve up to 20,000. Okay, so if you see, this looks much better because this is the maximum achievement. After the target it will go till here, then whatever you achieve it will not go further, right? It's same as like gear that you have, I mean the odometer that you have in the car. Okay, something like this. Okay, speed meter, whatever you want to call it. So this is something like that. So you have a maximum speed limit, right? So then you can set your own target. So this is how it works. Now what we will do is that we will be keeping a dynamic target for this as well. So whatever the last year orders we have done, that times 1.25 something is going to be our target, or maybe 1.5 times what is going to be our target, same as like a revenue target that we have created. So we will go ahead and just copy it and go to measures and create a new measures, which is right click, new measures, and we are going to call it target orders. Okay, so we will say target orders. Okay, now I will be using same metrics, but I will just change which is called this, which is total revenue to kind of total orders. Now we do have a total orders KPI. I just want to check what was the last year total orders, that times and 1.5 times, and if in case last year order was nil, then I can select maybe kind of something called 20,000 is my target. Okay, so again depending on what is the total sales, so I can just take it maybe kind of 15,000. Okay, let's give it as a 15,000 for the initial year when we do not have any last year sale. So instead of call last year sale, I can just name it call last year order, and I will just put it here last year order, last year order. Okay, so that's it, and this is what we will be carrying the target. Now I can drag the target instead of putting it here. So I will be just going ahead with the target, which is here, and I can select this target orders, which is in this target column. Okay, the maximum one you can keep it by yourself. So let's say we want to achieve 20,000 in every year. This is the maximum numbers, so you can keep it this way. Again, you can in the maximum one also you can use the target, maybe multiply with 200%, something like it. So however you want to achieve it, that's on you, but I think I will be keeping it as a 20,000, which is the maximum, right? So this is my gaze chart. Next, what I want to achieve is going to be a donut chart, because I know in my data there is a kind of small segment column I have, which I want to kind of keep in my kind of donut chart, right? So it is better to kind of keep 3 to 4 different type of chart, so that it makes a little interesting and easy to learn. Okay, so I think donut chart is something I really prefer in every dashboard that I build. So I will select this donut chart, which is from here, and I'm going to select the segment that is going to be customer. Okay, and if you see, we do have a 3 segment right now, and I'm going to select what I want to track here. In this segment I will be just using the revenue. Okay, so I will be using the revenue, which is called the measures we have created. So we're going to say total revenue, and now you can see it is already looking amazing. We just need to do the formatting later on. So right now we don't see the segment name here, but we see it here. So we will not kind of select this legends, and in the data labels we are going to select the category and the percentage total. We do not want to show the revenue at all here. So this is a fine. We got the donut chart. We will again need to do some formatting here to make sure they are kind of in right shape. Okay, so again you can do some little bit of formatting like this and little bit of like this. Okay, and adjust in the same size. Okay, so we will do again all this formatting in some time. Now next, what I want to do is that a map chart which shows a different customers and their kind of contributions based on the map. So in the revenue, okay, what is the total contributions, that is as a map chart, because our dashboard is incomplete without a geospatial map. So what I will be doing is that I'm going to select this one, which is called shape map, and we do have a state data. So we're going to select this state, and you can see it is looking already good, and I will be selecting for each state what you want to select, right? So if you see the color situations, I want to keep it, which is called maybe the revenue part. Okay, so I would be selecting the measures as a revenue measures, so total revenue. Okay, so we will do the formatting again later on for this part as well, and I'm going to keep it, which is maybe I can keep it here, or I will be keeping it in this side. Okay, so let's go ahead and do some formatting and do some alignment, and I'm going to keep it, click and drag it here. Okay, so this is how my this side completed, and I will be kind of again doing some more formatting as I said, and this is looks already great. Next, what I want is that a matrix here, where we can analyze further by each of the product and how things are going, right? So for that I will be creating a matrix, so which is here. You can select the matrix and you can drag the product. So we are going to analyze by the product, so we will be giving options where they would be able to see each product and how the progress are happening, right? Which products are selling well, which products are not selling well. Okay, so you can select the products and you can select the measures that you want to kind of give. So we would be selecting the total revenue is the first measures, which is going to be the first one. Then we would want to give something called total orders, total quantity, and maybe last one, which is going to be the profit. So let's go ahead and select the profit measure. So these are the 4 measures I want to give to the end users, so end users can analyze how they want to analyze. Okay, so I think we will be adjusting little bit of sizing here so that it looks good. So here I would just make it like till here. Okay, same way this one also I need to kind of make sure that it is little bit smaller, so because we only have very small category, so I can make it like up to this. Okay, and this and this I can just click and drag a little bit up. Okay, so this is fine. Even we can make it a little more smaller, that is still okay because it is a small category as I said. And I will just select this two and align it properly. Okay, already perfect. Little bit of smaller what I can make or I can just make this one little bigger. So I would want to kind of keep them in the same size. Just select it and drag it a little bit down. Okay, select and like drag it because it's an important chart, so we would want to kind of give some space. Okay, so this is what we would want our dashboard to look like. Now we just need to play with the color formatting. Let's select the map one first, and here we would be kind of again use kind of something like this formatting. So click on format, put it here, and everything is kind of looking good. We will just again need to work with the colors as I said, and here we do have this one. Again, I will be using one of the KPI, maybe this format, and put it here. Okay, and this one I will say format, put it here. Okay, again doesn't look that great, but I'm just getting the background, so that's the reason I'm using it. Maybe this one I will be using here as well. Okay, cool. So pretty much good so far. Now we would just need to play with this formatting a little bit more. Okay, so this is what we will do. Let's go ahead and start with the map. So first of all, I would kind of make sure this is the heading is kind of disabled. So we will select this map chart, go to here and disable the title. Okay, so this will make the map chart a little bit pop out, and we will select the tooltip and talking about the colors, what I will do is that fill colors, I do not want this colors, I would want the reddish colors because our logo is a reddish. So I will be selecting this reddish, which is the maximum one, and the minimum one I am going to keep it, which is called less red colors, like 10% red. Okay, which is going to be minimum one. And let's go ahead and do some blank one. I will be keeping it as a kind of darker. This looks great, and I think minimum one I'm going to keep it, which is 10% of this one, which is our logo colors. Okay, so this one, it is already fine. Again, you can decide this maximum and minimum threshold, which is here, you can see it here. Okay, so this looks already great, so you can just drag it and you will be getting more informations. Right now we do not have any headers or anything, so everything is turned off by default, and it is already identified that it is a US map. Now you have more options here. If you want to click, you can select this lasso. If you want to enable here a zoom pen, you can kind of make it auto zoom, which is kind of makes it little interesting. And you have a manual zoom as well, if you can select, or zoom selections you can select, but I think this is looking fine. We do not want them to zoom a little bit. Let's keep it auto zoom. Okay, so this is fine. Next, what I want to do is that here I would do some formatting. It doesn't look that great. Okay, so let's start with the first one. So the first one, I want to kind of keep a heading, so I can go ahead and give a title, which is called total revenue. Okay, so total revenue, and I would change the colors to kind of 10% white, which is this one, and I would want to keep it on the middle. And the size font I would be using Sugo, which is called Sugo Light. Okay, and the text I'm going to use it called 11. Okay, so let's see if in case this works fine. You can keep it 12, or you can keep it like Sugo semi bold as well. So I think semi bold will look good. So okay, so this is fine. Next, you need to make sure that this is middle align, and text wrapping you can turn it off. So I think pretty much everything looks fine so far. Okay, space between label you can just reduce it to kind of 2, okay, or maybe 1. This makes it, I think, perfect. Okay, now here I can just select this format, put it here. It's going to kind of give the same. Select the format, put it here, and here I would want to add a title called kind of total, which is called profit. Okay, here I would want to keep it called total quantity, right? Total quantity. Okay, now this one we would kind of change the formatting a little bit. So we would want to kind of do a data label formatting. So data formatting, and we want to format in 1000, which is going to be kind of whole numbers and 1 decimal, right? So this looks perfect. Next, we would go ahead and do a little bit of more formatting, but I think for this formatting is done. Now I will be adding some KPI, which is the last DAX we will need to write to check what was the last year sale, and we will be comparing that. So we will see that later on. So here also I do not want to keep any kind of title maybe, because this legend is kind of pretty much fine. So we will go ahead and select this, go to title and remove the title. So it kind of little popped out, and even you can increase the width as well if you want. So visual, everything is fine. It is like looking too red, so I think I would kind of consider to decrease the little bit of reddish colors. Okay, so go to line here and change the colors. Okay, we will need to go to bar, and for this red one, total profit on, I would just change it to kind of maybe this one, which is 10% less a red instead of whole complete a red, you know. So because that's going to grab more attentions, I do not want to make them confuse the end users, right? So this is fine, and we do have the legends. So legend is kind of, I would be keeping it in the middle, so I would say top center. Okay, so again for the text we want to change it to kind of 10% or 20% so white. Okay, so this looks fine. I would just change it to 9. I think the size looks fine. Okay, because I don't want to make it too big, but this is for legends. For this y-axis we would kind of, this name that you see, we would change it to kind of again 10% white, which is fine, maybe 20% whiter. Okay, again this is fine. For the grid lines, which is I think already looking good, so let's go ahead and do some formatting with the grid lines. So for grid line I want to do a kind of vertical, which is already here I think, and we will go ahead and say vertical lines, which is dotted, which is also fine. Make sure it is dotted, and this looks much better. 1 pixel is fine, and transparency we can say 5%, which will be variable. Visibility would be less. Okay, for the grid lines you cannot do anything else but very simple settings. Okay, we do not want any zoom bar here, everything else fine. The measures I would want, instead of million, in kind of I would say in kind of you know, thousands. Okay, because you can also add the labels, but it doesn't make really cool, so I would not add the labels. So the data format I would just select for this, which is called, maybe for the revenue what I want to do is in thousands instead of millions. Again, that is what you can decide how you want to keep it. So you can keep it automatic, or you can keep it which is called millions with 1 decimals. Okay, so we can say that currency and English decimal point is kind of 1. Okay, so this is going to be automatically work. I think what we already have it here, so it is fine. I do not want tooltip here. Okay, so I will turn off the tooltips. Tooltip is like if you drag it you get some more additional information, which is called tooltip. Okay, so this chart is also looking great. Next what I want to do is kind of this chart. So here I would want to kind of do similar type of formatting which I have done here. So I will just drag it and put it here. Okay, so this looks already great. So here I do not want kind of multiple dot lines, so I am going to kind of remove some of the grid lines from here. So I will go to kind of just call grid lines, and horizontal line I can just remove it. Okay, if I want to remove it, and I think I will be keeping the horizontal, but I think I'll be removing the vertical lines. Okay, which is this one. Okay, again if you want to keep it you can keep it, but transparency you can just keep it like maybe 15%, and colors like keep it very much darker. Okay, same way for this one also we can say kind of 15% and kind of very much darker. Okay, so cool, that's make it like little interesting. Again you can keep it as less as it is possible. So next what I want is I think the zoom slide turn on here, and I don't need for y axis, so just for the this axis. Okay, next what I want to do is that here I would want to do some formatting. So first of all we would go ahead and change the title, and let's go ahead and name the title, which is called order BS target. Okay, order BS target. Okay, target, and the text is going to be again the same data types is Hugo semi bold, and it's going to be kind of 11, and the text color I want is kind of, which is 10% darker, 20% darker. You can keep it 10%, that's on you how you want to keep it. So this is looking really ugly. This one we would need to fix it, which is called which is call out. Okay, so call out I would want, which is going to be pseudo semi bold. Okay, and pseudo semi bold, the it is going to be something like, maybe I would be using these colors, but that is fine. We would be keeping in thousands and 1 decimals. Okay, cool. And same way we will be kind of doing for the target as well, and the data labels. So this is the data labels. We would want to keep it like maybe something like 15. Let's see how much it looks like. Yeah, it looks good with 15, and I think it is fine. You can change the color to red if you want. Okay, so it kind of mix of colors looks good, right? So this is fine. And for the target, I think I will be just keeping it same as it is, but I will just change the colors. Okay, so for the target label color I want, which is going to be this. Okay, and I would be using again bold here, I think. Okay, so this makes it interesting, and everything else would remain same. Okay, now here also we will do some formatting. So first of all, we are going to kind of give a simple name called revenue by seg. See, proper naming is very important, because the user do not know what this chart is, right? By the name they understand, then they start watching and analyzing the data, right? So we will be giving proper name for everything. So that is one of the best practice. We will just say kind of 11 and 20% darker middle. Okay, so everything looks fine. And just this segment I do not want to keep this which is here. So what I will do is that I'm going to visuals, I will be removing this legends. Okay, and in the data labels we would not want to keep the data labels, and we want to keep the detail for the slice. We want to kind of use instead of this I would be using 10% white colors. Okay, or maybe 10% of these colors. Okay, instead of totally white. And for the complete red I would be using little bright red, I would say, like little red. Okay, so this looks fine, and I would need the space, so you can kind of increase it more if you want, but I think this looks already great. Okay, next, the detail label options. We would want to kind of see the category and percentage, and which is going to be, instead of 40 we are going to just say kind of maybe 12 or 13. We will see how does it look like. So 12 looks fine, but color we would just use 10% of bold, or we can use like this and use it kind of 11. Okay, so this seems fine, and we do have a proper kind of informations of each of these slides, like what they kind of means to the business, right? So this is fine, and I think this chart is ready. Next, we would want to do some kind of analysis here. So this is the tooltip that you see. We would want to kind of hide this tooltip, so we do not want to keep tooltip everywhere. So go to settings, turn off the tooltip. Okay, cool. Now here also we do not need any tooltip, so we will select it and turn off the tooltip as well here. Next, what I want to do is that for this chart, okay, again you don't have to kind of give the name, because it is already US map, so anyone will understand that. And also we do not want to keep any labels, because that's going to kind of mess up this, but we will be able to explain using a tooltip. Okay, so we're going to keep the tooltip, but we're going to do some formatting for the tooltip, where I will come later on. So let's first format this tooltip here that you see here. So right now we will select this, and if you see, we do have a tooltip enable. Okay, I mean it's disabled. Let's go ahead and enable it. So let's go ahead and do some formatting. So this tooltip, I would be changing the background colors, so which is here, and I will be changing it to 100% black, and then I will be keeping it kind of 5% transparent. Okay, so right now you don't see anything what is going on, but don't worry, I'm going to change the text colors. For the first text, I'm going to change it to kind of 10% white, then I'm going to change it this hour colors, and the third colors I mean the second colors I'm going to change it to, which is called the red colors. Okay, and the third one is I'm going to change it, which is called these colors. Okay, so let's go ahead and see now. So okay, it looks kind of little fine, but I think I just want to use something else. Let's kind of see if in case how does it make it more interesting. So I will be kind of keeping this, instead of red I will be keeping kind of this colors, which is our theme colors. Okay, little brighter one. So let's go ahead and see now. Okay, and the first one I think it is already white. Okay, so this is already fine. So it is kind of looking already great, I think. Okay, we will be adding more informations here in the tooltip. So let's go ahead and go to this and add more information. So by default you have this revenue and the target. Okay, and if you want to add more like total orders, you can add it. So I think for this we would just keep 2. For the map we will be adding more, right? Because this is just the map and this, right? So here what I next want to do is that this is like little the pixel, we can reduce it to make it more slim. So we will go to this, which is called lines, and here we would just reduce the pixel for both like into 2%. Okay, 2 pixels. This makes it more interesting. You can even keep it the revenue one little board, but I think 2 looks fine for this. Okay, and here this which is y label, we can change the colors for the y label. So let's go to y-axis and change the values to kind of 20% white. Okay, maybe you can just keep it as a 30% white. Okay, cool. And for this one we can keep it which is for x-axis, we can keep the value as kind of 20% white, which is I think make it interesting. Or you can keep it kind of 10%, but I think we're going to keep it 10%. Okay, this looks fine. And the size I think looks totally okay, and I think this is just looking too little big. So these labels I would kind of keep it Sugo semi light. Okay, and this is fine. Or I can just keep it the bold only, Sugo semi bold, but size little bit less, which is called 10. Okay, so cool, that is perfectly fine. Next we want to do some formatting in this map chart. So what I want to do is that I would want to add a kind of nice tooltip. So if somebody is hovering and they would be able to see more informations, and the colors that I want to follow here in this tooltip, it is going to be, I did not select it, let's select it. The background is should be kind of again 100% black and 5% transparent, and the text is going to be, the first one is kind of white, the second one is going to be this little lighter one, third one is going to be kind of little reddish. Okay, so let's go, and we do have only one informations right now. And again the label one, you can keep it like 100% white, but that makes it like really white. So I would just keep it kind of 10% white. Okay, so let's go ahead and add some more informations in this tooltip. By default you can see this revenue, we would want to kind of add the total orders and the total profit as well. We can also add the quantity, so depending on how much information you want to show. So in this tooltip you can add like total orders, which I want to show, which is called total orders, and total profit. Okay, so for each state they want to see total profit. Quantity is going to be too much. I think we do have right now, which is 4 informations, which is perfectly fine. Don't make it too much information because that's going to mess up other things as well, right? So this looks great. And if you see wherever we do not have any revenue, it kind of the grayed out that state, right? So this one, there is no revenue. Okay, cool. So this is perfectly fine, and this is looking too red. If you want to kind of change the little bit colors, so you can go to settings and map settings, go to this fill colors, and instead of making it too darker red, like just make it bright red. Okay, so this looks great. Next we would want to do some formatting here in the this matrix. So first of all, we do not want any headers, so let's first select it and make sure that no header is being enabled, which is perfectly fine. And let's go to here and just do some formatting here, right? So what I want to do is that I want to keep it a row subtotal. I think it is not showing already. And next I would want to kind of select a layout, and I would select no. Okay, I want kind of no layout like this. I'll be using my own layout, right? So we can just change it to compact. I think it's already in compact, which is fine. Indentations 10 to, you can keep it maybe 15, which is going to increase the indentations, but I think 10 is already fine. Okay, so next what I want to do is that the grid line that you see, so horizontal one, you can turn it on like this and make it like really darker one, something like this, and pixel is kind of 0.5. Okay, you barely notice it but kind of make really impressions. So border we do not want as it is, we want to keep it same. Row headers text we want to change it to kind of 10% white. Okay, or you can keep it like 20% if you want it. Like I think 10% will look fine. Okay, so we can keep it like 10% or 20%, whatever you think. I think 20% will work a little bit darker for me, but I will be keeping it 10%. Okay, and next we would be doing some more formatting. So this is for the text. I think 9 looks really big. Let's change it to kind of 9. Okay, so we'll be keeping it for 9, and icon I will keep it same. Column subtotal, which I do not want. The column subtotal or row subtotal I want, which is at the bottom, and for that I will keep it same. And next what I want to do is that the values that you see here, I want to change it to kind of 10% white. Okay, and this is going to be kind of 9. Okay, so let's go and do some column row grand totals. Yeah, this one I want to change it to kind of, which is called 10% white. Okay, this is the bottom one, and I think the font 10 will work good, so let's keep it little big. Okay, and if you see here right now we do have everything in place, so we can just increase it the size, and the profit till here, quantity like this, total orders like this. Okay, so this is fine. Now we need to do some little bit of more formatting, so let's do one by one. Column grand totals, we would want to kind of keep it 10% white. Okay, and next we would do specific column, we will do later on, and this one also we will do later on. Let's first do some top level formatting. Okay, so that's going to be here. This is fine. Grid line is we have given. Next, for blank rows we can just keep it, no, we do not want. The values here is the text values, we would want to change it to 10% white. Okay, and the alternate one also we would want to kind of change it to 10% white. Okay, so you can keep it like 20% instead of keeping it 10%, and that make it a little darker. So cool. Now next what I want is text wrapping, I do not want. And column heading, what I want to change the color to kind of complete head 10% light, 10% white, what I want. And I can increase this size to kind of adjust it properly with this one, right? Now let's go ahead and do some conditional formatting on this profit column. So if it is the profit is more than 0, then we will be keeping it green, otherwise we will be keeping it red. So you can just click on this background colors, which is part of each element. So you can say turn it on, and you can go to FX, and here you can just define some range. So I would say lowest is going to be, which is called maybe whatever it is the lowest, I would be keeping it as like dark red. Okay, which is here, maybe a little like this much. Okay, and for the highest, which is going to be the positive numbers, I will keep it this. Okay, and I'm going to add a middle, which is going to be 0. So for 0 I will be keeping it like something like, which is here I will be using a custom. Okay, so it is going to format all the profit wherever it is more than 0 in these colors, if it is less than 0 in this reddish colors. Okay, so let's go ahead and run it. Now if you see, wherever you see red, it is in the loss. Okay, this product is making loss, and wherever you see plus, it is kind of making profit, but you don't see it. We will change the font colors. So turn it on, go to font colors, and here you can change it to font colors for everything is like kind of which is called darker. So let's select like this dark, and also here select the same darker. Okay, so this makes it like little dark. Okay, so it looks totally fine. Again, you can do the formatting later on, which we will be doing in the format part. Now for the total orders, I would want to keep some bar which kind of shows like the which product has more orders, more bar. Okay, so select it, go to this total orders and just turn on the bar. Okay, data bar. Again, you can do some formatting. So the colors we would want for the positive something like this, which is going to be little bit of this, and for the negative little bit, I would not say negative but little bit of this, and I would just keep everything as it is, right? So again here if you see right now for positive we don't basically see it, but we can just change the color to maybe instead of this like grayed out colors. Okay, so something like this which is called this for, and for negative we're going to change it this, and for positive we're going to kind of change it something like this. Okay, so everything looks fine. Okay, again this is kind of readable, so you need to kind of read this, right? So for total revenue I think this is already fine. We just need to do the data formatting. I will just keep only two format, that's it. If you just drag it, it says the highest profit. Okay, it order in the highest profit, and it basically order in the highest loss making product. Okay, so this is a fine. We have like kept only 4 KPI, so almost our project is completed right now. Next what we need to do is that we need to create a slicer. Let's go ahead and save our work, and we will be creating a year slicers. So based on year somebody will be able to filter. So here you already have filter, but this filter you can only control when you publish the project. This filter is not going to be accessible by the end users. So for end user we are going to give some options where they can kind of select and see the data by different years, right? So that is what we will do here. So again you can keep the most important filter here, and then you can create a filter pen, which I'm going to show you how to create it. So let's go ahead and first create a most important slicers, which is going to be the year slicer. So you can just drag this, which is called slicers, and you get the slicer pen, and here you can select the year. So from the date calendars you can simply select the year. Okay, and you're getting something like this, which I do not like. So let's go to settings and change the slicer settings to something called tile. Okay, so in tile it is going to look very interesting. So we can just drag it like this and place it here. Okay, at the end to maybe little bit something like this. Okay, so this is fine, and by default the user know what this slicer means, so you don't have to kind of keep the heading. So we will go to heading and turn off the heading. So I think it is already turned off, but we will be header is here, so we will turn off, right? Next what we will do is that the background, we are going to change the background colors to kind of the same colors. So let's go to the background data effect and turn off the backgrounds. We do not want the backgrounds. Okay, and for selections you can keep it select all as well here, but by default they already know select all, but I would not keep it anything else. And values, I think I'm just going to change the values to kind of the color to our theme colors, which is this colors. Okay, so little bit of a darker one. Okay, and padding you can just keep it I think this is already fine. And the background for this you can just change it to kind of which is called the theme colors. Okay, which make it little interesting, and you can make it little bold. Okay, so see you go bold, but you can use semi bold, and font we can use at kind of 12. Okay, so this is the important part, so that's the reason we're going to keep it this way. Now I would like to keep a borders, so the border is going to be little reddish. Okay, and very kind of like this. I think this looks a little better. This looks fine. Okay, again that is on you, and the width I would want kind of 0.5 pixels. Okay, so minimum 1 is only the options you have, so you cannot select beyond that. I think this is fine. Now we would be adding just a simple slicer icon here. Okay, a filter icon here. So let's go ahead and say insert image, and I have already given this filter icon. So clear filter icon what I am going to add. So if in case they select any filter, that is going to be clear if they click this button. Okay, so we're going to just select it here and put it here. So let's go and put it here in the right place. Okay, so this is a button. Now we will be naming this button called clear filters. So for that you can go to this view and enable selections, and you see this button is selected called image, and I'm going to name it call clear filter button. Okay, we will be assigning some tasks in this button later on. Next, what I want to do is that I would want to create a filter pane. So see, this is a yearly filter, right? They can do a filter by the year. You can see the data is getting changed, right? Next, what I need to do is that we would need to create one more filters, because this is just the year, right? What about if they want to do analysis by the category, by the country, by the regions, right? So a lot of things are there. So we will be creating a filter where user will be getting all the different filter options. Okay, so but that is going to be minimizable. So if they click on it, it is going to be minimized again, and if they click on it, it will come up here as a pop-up. Okay, so that is what we are going to do using that filters, right? So first of all, what I will need to do is that I am going to add a kind of icon here, which is called filter icon. Okay, so let's go ahead and say insert and image. I have included this two image, so this image I am going to use as a filter icon. So here, let's go ahead and put it here, which is as a filter icon. So somebody will click this image and they are going to get the filter pane, which is going to pop up from here. Okay, so let's call this as a filter, open filter. Okay, so I would say call open filter pane. Okay, this is what I'm naming it, open filter pane, this button. Okay, call buttn, and this is called clear filter button. Okay, so naming is really important. So this is fine. Now how it is going to work is based on the bookmarks. So bookmarks are some screenshot that you can take for different stage of this dashboard. Okay, then using this screenshot you can go to a different moment, right? So like you can, let's say we are selecting some filters, so this is a moment where something is being selected, so you can go to this moment using a bookmark. If I just capture it, whenever I will click that bookmark, it will take me to this moment where we have one filter applied. Okay, so this is called basically bookmark. So now what we will do is that next we would need a shape here. So I'm going to just call insert and go to shape, and using this shape, which is, I think I like it, this one. Okay, and I'm going to kind of click a shape like this, and we are going to use something in this much space. So I think I'm going to just delete this. I'm going to go with the simple shape which I have used earlier, so this one, and we are going to use it till here. Basically, if somebody click the filter, this shape is going to come up. Okay, let's keep the filter pen till here. Okay, and maybe till here. Okay, so what we will do is that we're going to just keep shape rectangular, maybe for 5%, and I do not want shadow here, but the background colors I would want to change from this style to, which is our background colors, which is 1F. Okay, next what I want to do, I would just want to keep a borders which is a little bit of reddish. Okay, you can keep it kind of whatever you want to keep it. So I think this looks already fine, but I'm going to keep it like the colors of, which is us. Maybe the red doesn't look that great, it's kind of looking a little ugly here, so I'm going to keep it, the border colors going to be same as our theme colors and very light one. Okay, no, I would just keep it the darker one. Okay, so let's go ahead and keep it the darker one. See, all these things are based on you, how you want to customize it. Okay, so we can go ahead and see if in case I can use 0.5. I think 1 is the maximum. I'll be using 50% transparency for the borders. Okay, so very I would say very much less kind of visible, which make it interesting. I think this much is going to be fine for me till the logo size. Okay, cool. So this is fine, and next what I want to do is that I would want to add all the slicer here. Okay, so before that I would want to hide everything. I want to blur out everything. If somebody click this filter, the filter will come out and this background would be blur out. So for that I would be creating one more shape. So this shape I am going to name it call, which is called filter pen shape. Okay, filter pen shape. Okay, and I would need one more shape which is going to be simple shape like this, that is going to blur out everything. So when somebody is kind of launching these filters, everything would be blur out. So for that I would say style going to be 100% black, and transparency I'm going to add like maybe call 75%. Okay, so if you see right now it is still blur out, you don't see it what is going on. This one I'm going to name it call filter pen bg blur. Okay, so this blur I just need to keep it after this filter shape. Okay, so it goes after this, and open filter is also kind of behind it, that is fine. Okay, now here what I need is kind of here I would be needing all these different filters, right? So how do I get all these filters? I would be using the slicer again, the same functions. So maybe click outside. Okay, and you will just need to kind of go out of this. So first let's hide this, which is the blur one, and you get this little slicer icon. So let's drag one by one slicers. Okay, so I would just say slicer and drag it here. Okay, now here I'm going to use all the possible slicer that I think important. So first one is the year is already here, so I'm not going to keep the year here. So I would be using something called maybe, which is important by maybe the category, right? So the product category is the important part. So I would select the product category. I do not want this way, but I would be creating a drop down. So go to settings, change it to drop down. Okay, so drop down is fine, and background colors I want to keep it called which is called the same colors that we have, right? So go to effect and change the background to kind of this one. Okay, or you can just keep it 100% black, so whatever you want. So let's adjust it in this size only. Let's keep it up to this. Okay, so this is your first filter. Now title, you can turn it on or you can hide it, that's on you. The colors we want kind of white, which is going to be this background, which I do not want. Let's keep it this only, but what I want is kind of some formatting, which we will do here. So let's go ahead and do one by one. So let's go into the settings, visuals, and filter headers. I want to change it to kind of, which is called 10% white. Okay, and I want to kind of change it to, which is called Sugo semi bold. Okay, and keep it kind of let's say 11. And the font I want to keep it as a 100% black. Okay, so this looks already interesting. The size I just need to reduce it to kind of maybe 9, something like this. Okay, so that I can read properly. Okay, 9 or 10 you can keep it. I think 10 is going to be fine, little big, but I think 10 is looking too big. Let's keep it 9. Okay, so from here the last background we have changed it to 100% white, and the heading as well also I think I'm going to change it to 100% white. Okay, here this heading that you see, and the size I'm going to keep it as a 10. Okay, so this is perfect. Next what I want is kind of little bit more informations. Maybe let's keep it 11. Okay, and this is our one of the filter, right? But next what I want to do is that kind of select and copy, right? So this is my category filters, category slicer, sorry. Now I need some more. So what I will do is that again I can keep a borders. I think this will look a little better. So let's go ahead and see if in case I keep a border, how does it look like? Okay, so let's go ahead and say effect, and shadow I don't want, but I think I need a visual borders, and little bit of maybe these colors, and maybe kind of 3% or 5% round. Okay, I would again check if in case this looks good, then I'm going to keep it. Okay, so let's just click outside. This is how it looks like. So you can see it doesn't look really great, but we can just increase the transparency if you want, or we can just keep it as a gray colors. Okay, so and we will need to drag it in the middle. So this is what I would do. I did not keep usually the borders, but I think it is a good idea. If you want to keep it, you can keep it. I have shown you how you can do that from the effects, from here. This is the visual borders, and you can do it from here, but I would just change it to gray out colors, which is like darker gray, and I think transparency option is not there, but this is how it is going to look like. Okay, so it doesn't look that much impressive, so I am going to turn it off basically. So let's select this and go to settings, and let's go to effect and turn this visual borders off. Okay, again you can experiment, how do you want to go about it. Copy and paste. Next, let's create one more which is going to be same, and this one I'm going to call it, which is called country. Okay, so let's go ahead and drag the country. So here right now category is selected. We would want the second is for the another important one would be maybe by the regions. So first I want to keep a region here, so let's go ahead and drag the regions. Okay, and you just need to delete the category. You can see you don't have to even give the name, so everything is done automatically. Okay, next I want to do kind of one more. So this one I'm going to name it call a region slicer, region slicers. Okay, next I would just say Control C Control V, and I would want one more. Control C Control P, I would want one more. Total I would be keeping 5. Control C Control P, I'll be doing the alignment later on. So 5 filter what I want to keep. Okay, so totally again you can keep it more, but I think 5 filter will make it perfect. Okay, so I would first select this, which is called the third one, and here I want to assign the country. Okay, so let's go ahead and first go to customer table and get the country. So that's going to be, which is the customers, and from here you can drag the country. Okay, just remove the regions. The name is automatically done. You don't have to do any formatting. Alignment we will be doing in some time. Next I want to do kind of year is already done, so maybe state I don't think, but a segment again are not much important because we already have the segment here. So again next we want to do kind of maybe ship mode. Okay, because we do have something called ship mode, which I kept it in the sales table. So using ship mode we can see which ship mode is kind of doing better business, right? So this is an important aspect that maybe the business would want to analyze it. So let's drag the ship mode here and go to country and remove that, and we would want to maybe use the segment at the end, right? So the last one I'm going to use called segment. So let's go ahead and go to customers and drag the segment here and delete the regions. Okay, and at the end if you want to keep the quarter, so you can keep it because we have not kept it anything called quarters. Sometimes the business they want to see by the quarters, so we can add a quarter maybe at the top. Okay, I mean it's going to be too much, but again that's optional. If you want to do it you can do that, right? So let's select and drag it a little bit more here and a little bit more here. We will do auto alignment, so that's totally okay. Let's Control C Control B. Let's click one more here. I'm going to just keep it as a quarter. I think we just need to kind of work with this space again. Okay, this is fine, this is fine, this is fine. Okay, this is fine, and this is fine, this is fine. So this one I'm going to keep it for quarters. Okay, select it, name it call quarter. Okay, and go to quarter, which is going to be from here, which we have created, and drag it here and remove the category. Okay, so quarter is done. So right now what we will do is that we're going to select all of them together. Okay, I think I just need to give the proper name. So we do have regions multiple ones, so this one is for segment. Let's name it call segment, right? Segment. And then this one we do have, which is called region. So I think this is fine, and I don't think it's called, yeah, it's for regions. We do have 2 regions, so I think we do have missed something. So quarter we have added, category we have added, region we have added, shipment we have added, segment we have added. So let's see if in case we want something subcategory we can add. So I think instead of region, let's go ahead and select the subcategory. Okay, so we have added all the possible way of filtering if in case they want to filter, right? So this is the interesting part. If in case the business want to filters, they have all the possible options, right? So let's optimize it a little bit closer with each others. Okay, don't wanna kind of stress it, but maybe you can select. Okay, so we need to keep some more space. I think it's showing hidden. Okay, So let's select all of them now and do a auto alignment. Okay, so you can select all of them, go to format and go to alignment, make sure that they are left aligned, okay, in the same line, all of them. You can drag it a little bit if you want. Okay, just make sure it is inside that filter pen, and equal distributions which is vertically. Okay, so here we do have two that is kind of together, so I think I will just select, I think I did not select it one, so let's select again. Okay, so let's select that, select all of them. Cool, now let's go ahead and go to the alignment again. Unfortunately we will do the left alignment first, which is left align, then we will do equally distributions vertically. Okay, so this is perfect. Next, what I just want to do is that a kind of icon here which is going to take us back if in case we want to go back. Okay, so for that what you can do is that you can simply use a cross sign, and we do have an insert option, so you can go to insert and go to which is called button, and here you can use this button box. Okay, blank button. Now it is, see, it is giving you these options, so here you can kind of go to format and go to style, and you'll have something called text. Turn it on, put X, and use this as a pseudo bold, use it like 20, maybe a little bit more, 24. Okay, and change the color to 100% white. So this is a close button, we do not want any borders, so we can go to style and make sure there is no borders, nothing, the background is transparent, and what I want is kind of no borders. Okay, and little bit of, and optimize it a little bit more. You can even increase the size, so let's keep it here. Okay, so if somebody click on it, it's going to kind of hide that filter pen. So I usually keep a button to hide it, so whenever they want to hide it, because they would eventually want to analyze it, right? So they would need to hide it. So let's go ahead and put it somewhere here, wherever you want to place it. Okay, now let's click on call which is called close filter pen button. Okay, so this is a close filter pen button, and we do have everything in place. So right now what I want to do is that I want to make a group of all these filter pen things together. So let's go ahead and select everything from here to kind of which is here to clear filter button. Okay, which is I think that is behind. Okay, let's see which one is this. Let's first select hide all this. Okay, let's see what is the clear filter button. Let's check this one as well also. This is the close button. So what is the clear filter? Okay, this is this one. Okay, so that is different one. So open filter pen, I will not keep it in the group, but remaining all I will be keeping in one group, and I'm going to name this group called Control G, need to press, and call this group called filter pen. Okay, this is a filter pen group, so everything would be one. If I just click it, you see everything comes up. If I click it, oops, okay, let's go ahead and kind of, yeah, I think let's select everything all one go, enable everything. Okay, now if I just click it, you see everything comes together and goes away, right? When you are selecting it, it's also making dark the background, right? It's blurring the background. Okay, so this is how you know. Okay, so the background is kind of blurred. Okay, so we do have a background blurs, we do have a borders, which I think we need to remove. We do not want a borders. Okay, cool. So this is the filter pen. Now if I just hide it, you see it is gone. Okay, so let's take some screenshot of this stage. Okay, right now no filter is being applied, so we can take a screenshot. So go to kind of which is called here view, and go to bookmark and take a screenshot. Okay, so here you have this bookmark. Take a screenshot and name it which is called close filter pen. Okay, close filter pen. Okay, this is a close filter pen bookmark. Now I am going to open the filter pen manually first one time by just enabling it. It is enabled and filter pen is open right now. All these things are kind of, the background is also a little bit blurry. So this one I'm going to name it and I'm going to kind of take a one more screenshot right now, which is going to be filter pen open. So that means all these things will come up. So I'm saying open filter pen. Okay, so right now this open filter pen that you see, if I just click it, it go to the previous stage. If I click it, it kind of brings the filter pen, right? So where user can filter the data. So right now what I need to do is that I need to just unselect the data from this. Okay, so that is how, if in case somebody open the filter pen, they will be filtering it and they will go back to the previous test, but the filter will stay active. So this is an important step, make sure you do not miss it. So this is fine. Now what I just need to do is that we need to connect them with the button. That's it. Okay, so open filter pen, close filter pen, and I would take one more screenshot of this, which is called clear all filters. Okay, and I am going to assign that in this button. So I will say clear all filters. Okay, so this is fine. Now let's go ahead and see one of the button which you want to assign. Okay, so this is the button that we have. So in this button I would want to assign, which is called open filter pen bookmark. So you go to the action and here you can click on this assign bookmark, which is this one, and go to this, which is called open filter pen, and you can kind of add a tooltip, just right call open filter pen. So user will get the filter pen basically after hovering here. If you see, they will be getting a text like this, open filter pen, and yeah, that's it. So this is open filter pen. We have assigned it. Now we are going to assign, once the filter pen is open, so in this button we're going to assign close filter pen. Okay, so let's click outside, let's click this button, and in this button we're going to assign, which is called close filter pen. So go to action, go to this assign bookmark, and here you can say that close filter pen. Okay, tooltip, we can just say close filter pen. Okay, so let's skip F, small letter, close filter pen. So this is the text they will see if they hover here. Okay, perfect. Now let's go ahead and test it. Let's click on it. You see it is closing it, right? Let's click on open it. It's opening it, right? Now we can go ahead and kind of filter anything. We can just say we want to filter by Q1. You can see, right, it's being filtered. We want to filter by the category, which is called electronics. It is being filtered. So you can say close. Okay, you just need to press control in the on development mode. When it is going to be published, they don't have to press control. Now you see it is kind of showing perfectly, right? So if you can click on this icon, it is going to clear all the filters, but we just need to assign this button what you want to assign, right? So this button, go to this format, what you want to assign, click this button again and go to actions, and we want to assign one more bookmark here, which is called bookmark, and this is going to be called clear all filters, and we would write just call clear all filters. Okay, this text. So let's go ahead and just click, and if you see, it is clear all filter, right? Now we have seen some problem with this kind of this text. I think it is kind of too big. So let's go ahead and hide bookmarks for now and hide filters for now, and let's go ahead and do some visual label formatting. So this font I would want to kind of change it to maybe kind of 35. Okay, so this is looking great. Even I can change it to 30 would be also fine. Okay, instead of making it too big, I think we can make it 30. Okay, so same format I can apply here as well, 30. Okay, also I would just copy and make sure it is 30. Okay, I think 30 is looking too small. You can again play with it and change it how you would want to keep it. And the decimal point, I think for this I would just want to keep it at 2 decimals as a fix. Okay, so we can click here, go to this, and instead of keeping it auto decimal, just keep it 2. Okay, so here also instead of keeping it auto decimals, keep it 2. Here keep it just 1 decimal by default. We do not want like more than 1 decimal. And text wrapping we do not want for any of them. Okay, so text wrapping is close. This also text wrapping is close. Okay, Now this is done. Now one last task is pending. Let's save our work. That is going to be creating a KPI. So it check the last year revenue, and if it is more than that, what percentage it is more, it is going to show it here. Same way profit, same way quantity, and we are good to go. Okay, so that is what I am going to do. And for that, what I will be doing is that I will be using new measures. Okay, so first we need to find out the last year revenue, and then we need to find out the current year revenue, and then we will be checking how much percentage it is more compared to the last year's. Okay, so we will be creating a 3 new more measures. This is going to be our last measures. So let's go ahead and say new measures, and I will just go ahead and name it call KPI revenue. Okay, KPI revenue. Okay, YOY, that means KPI revenue compared to year and year, right? So we use it YOY. So here what I will need to do is that let's write down some comment here called this functions finds last year and current year revenue difference in percent. Okay, in percentage. Now if in case you want to know how does it work, we need to first find out the last year revenue, then we need to find out the current year revenue, and then we need to divide by the difference. Okay, so this is what we need to do. So let's go ahead and see how we can find out the last year revenue. Is going to be simple approach, which is called the last year revenue. Let me just create a variable called last year revenue, and we will be using the same. See, last year till today date, right? So today is 23rd, so till 23rd we need to get the revenue of the last year's. So we will be using call calculate functions. So it's a calculate, and we will be saying that we want to find out total revenue. So and we are going to say that same period last year's. Okay, and we will need to just give the date table of date. That's it. The same functions we have used earlier. This function is going to get the last year revenue. We will be creating one more functions which is called current year revenue, and we will be kind of storing that in here. So let's kind of add one more bracket close here, and again we will be using calculate. This time we need to find out the current year revenue, so total revenue, and we will be using here instead of same period last year we will be using dates YTD. Okay, so dates YTD or total YTD is a function which is going to get you the revenue from the starting date, which is 1st Jan till today date of this year, and last year you get it using same period. So we need to use again date tables of date, and we will be just closing it. Okay, so we got the current and the last year revenue. Now I will be just finding the difference, so I would be using one more variable which is called diff, and here I'm just going to store call the last current year. Okay, we need to find out the current year minus last year's, current year minus last year. Okay, so this is going to give us the difference. Right now what I need to find out is just what is the ratio. Now how you would get the ratio I will tell you in some time. Before that I would just need to kind of make sure that I'm going to kind of, let's first go ahead and see how we can get the ratio, right? So I would just name it call diff ratio, different ratio, and I would just create one more variable to store this difference ratio. So I would say variable and difference ratio, and how I get the difference ratio is going to be using a divide. So I'm going to use something called divide. Divide function, divide. You cannot use directly divide here, so you can use the divide functions here. So I would want to divide this difference, which is going to be this difference, and by what, which is going to be the last year. Okay, last year revenue. If in case anything goes wrong I will be having 0. Okay, so I got the divide ratio in percentage. Okay, now I will be using simple if logic to kind of tell how much percentage it is more, how much percentage it is less. So I would just go ahead and say again one more variable. So this is the longest DAX we need to write in for this project. We would say DAX. Again you need to just repeat it 2 to 3 times, you would be pro with this. Okay, so I would say DAX, and what I will be doing is that I'm going to say a result. Okay, text. One more variable I'm just creating, result text. Now here I'm going to check the last year revenue. If I would say kind of I would say last year revenue is a blank, I would need to first check if the last year revenue is blank, right? We can say is blank. Okay, we can use again multiple approach here. We can say is if last year revenue, okay, let's use is blank. Okay, so we'll say blank is blank and last year revenue. Okay, so we are saying if the last year revenue is blank, okay, that means last year revenue is empty, then what do you want to do? Then we would want to kind of print a message called no sale last year. So this message is going to be printed. Okay, very simple. Cool. Now if in case the last year revenue is not a blank, that means last year is like 2020 or 2021, so basically we have a last year revenue which is 2020 revenue. So then what I want to do is that I would want to build some logic here. I would use one more nested if. Okay, and I would check what is the revenue, what is the this which is called the difference ratio. Okay, I would check if this difference ratio is greater than 0 or less than 0. So for that I would say again if. Okay, and here I'm using last year revenue is blank, and here I'm going to use the different ratio. Okay, so if this different ratio is kind of greater than 0, then I would just print a message called more than last year. Okay, now I will make some logic here very soon, so you would understand this concept, like what we are trying to do. Else what I want to do is that I would say else what I want to print is called, let's go ahead and print it here, call less than last year. Okay, cool. So this is fine. So you have understood till now whatever is going on. Let's go ahead and kind of close this, the first if logic as well. So we are simply printing if in case the revenue is more, it says more than last year, also it print kind of less than last year. First it check the last year revenue. If the last year revenue is not available, then it simply say no sale last year. If the last year revenue is available, then it simply see either it check this condition. If this condition is fulfilled, it print this. If it is kind of not blank, then it check the different ratio. Okay, here it check if the difference ratio is more than 0, yes, then it kind of do this, and otherwise it does it. If in case it is blank, it doesn't even check it. Okay, so we are using very simple logic here. Cool. Now next what I want to do is that I would also want to include here, along with this text, I would want to include here how much percentage increase and how much percentage decrease this ratio I want to print. But as I'm saying more and less, I would not directly use this different ratio. I will be using absolute difference instead of saying it minus this person plus this person, right? So because I am already saying more or less, so I would use one more variable which is called abs, and I would say diff. Okay, absolute difference ratio basically, and I'm going to use the abs functions, and I'm going to put this in difference ratio. Okay, now that's it. Now what I will be doing is that here I am going to include this different ratio as well. So how you can do is that you can use a format functions. Before it I want to include not here but here. So you can use a format here, and you can say using a format you can access from this which is called abs difference. From abs difference you can access this which is called 0.0%. Okay, so earlier we have not kind of converted by divided by 100, so right now we can simply say this, and this is how it is going to kind of do the formatting. I just need to add a space here and here. As this is a different text we are concatenating, we can use an and sign which you have learned earlier. Okay, so same thing, I would just need to use it this format, and this which is called this here as well. Okay, which is before this less. So, and I will be adding a space here. Okay, now this is perfectly fine. I can just simply show you if it is working or not. Okay, now from this all this variable what you want to return is kind of, we will say return this which is called a result. Okay, this result text, because this result combine everything that we need in the return. Let's go ahead and first check if in case everything is in place. Okay, so first let's use a KPI card, and again you can take a screenshot of this DAX. Okay, and first let's go ahead and click outside, go to this, use a KPI card to see. Okay, oops, do not want, let's kind of click it and use a KPI card, click outside KPI card, and I will be using this new measures which is called KPI revenue. Okay, so if you see, it is already telling very nicely that 73% more than last year's. Okay, it is simply comparing with the 2023. Right now let's select the 2020 data. It says no sale last year because in 2019 we don't have the data, but if you say 2021, it says 0.8% more. Now if you want to verify it, you can check. In 2020 the sale was 448 and 2021 the sale is kind of 444. So 448 to little less, right? 448 to kind of 444, so little less. That's the reason 0.8% less than last year, right? So it is already doing the job it is supposed to do. So let's go ahead and kind of do some formatting here. I don't need this kind of the title, so I would just go ahead and do some formatting. Let's do the formatting later on for this. Okay, I don't need this category label. So this is already doing what it is supposed to do, right? Now we need two more. One is for profit, one is for quantity. That is it, our job is done. Okay, now we will be using the same technique because it is the same at the end. So let's first kind of go ahead and kind of maybe select this KPI and copy these functions. Okay, and I would just replace this revenue instead of revenue by the profit. That's it. So let's go ahead and create one more new measures, which is called KPI, and I will name it called KPI profit. Okay, let's say Control V, KPI revenue, KPI profit. So profit will check how much more profit in the last year and current year. So total profit, you just need to replace total profit and total profit. That's it, and you don't have to do any changes for the profit. So profit is fine, we got it. KPI profit year over year, so that is fine, everything is working. We can just check how much profit is more. Okay, so if you see last year profit was kind of 239 and this year profit is 242, so little less. So let's check if the profit is working. Select the KPI and instead of this select the profit. You see it is showing 1.2% less. Here it says no sale last year, so no profit obviously. Here 1.4 less, here it is more, right? Cool. Now we need one just for the quantity. So for the quantity again we will be using the same technique but a little different, because in quantity we don't want to put the percentage, we want to kind of put the 1000. Instead of percentage we will show in 1000, like how many thousand more, how many thousand less compared to last year's. So everything would remain same as I said. So I would say total profit KPI, I'm going to say total quantity KPI year over year, and here I would say total quantity instead of profit, total quantity. Okay, now here we do not need to find out this divide ratio, so I would just delete it. Okay, what I need to do is basically here call the absolute difference and the difference. Okay, so the difference is basically the quantity. You can recorrect this name, but I will just keep it the same to save time, and I would just go ahead and build logic here. If the last year revenue is kind of more than kind of which is called more than 0, like if the quantity is more than, let's see like how we want to do it. If in case last year revenue, which means the last year quantity is kind of less. Okay, let's kind of name it, it's called last year instead of revenue. Let's kind of say quantity, right? It will take just few seconds, but it'll make more sense to you as well, right? And current year also I would just name it called quantity. Okay, and difference is going to be, which is called current year quantity. Okay, and minus the last year quantity. Okay, so here we are checking if in case we do have a last year quantity as a blank, that means last year quantity is missing, we print no sale last year. Cool. And otherwise we will just go ahead and let's put the difference in the absolute. Okay, then we will be checking what is the difference. If the difference is more than kind of if the difference is more than 0, then we will say that okay, this is more than that, right? So here what I will do is that I will need to put this absolute. I would remove this percentage and I will divide it by 1000, because I want to, whatever the difference is, the positive difference or negative difference, I want to divide it by 1000. So I would be having the data converted into thousands, right? Next I am just using 0.0, that means it's going to just format in 1 decimals. That's it, and everything else will work same as it is. So I think it is already perfect, and I would just need to add a K sign after this, right? So here I'm going to add a K sign as a text. So I would say K, that's basically tells what is the difference, and same K I need to add here as well, which is if in case if it is less. So here also I add a K sign. So after this I add a one more K sign, and here I print this, and I will be using it this way, and kind of whatever the absolute difference, this percentage I don't need, and a case sign, it is more than or less than last year's. Okay, everything is fine. Let's go ahead and quickly check. Okay, so this is called quantity year over. So let's select this, and this time I'm going to select the quantity one, which is called KPI quantity. Let's see, for 2020 no sale last year, no quantity last year obviously. So for 2021 we can see that 0.4k more than last year's. Okay, so right now if you see, it is kind of, in the last year quantity was 7,500 and here it is kind of 7,900, so little bit more, right? 400 more, so it says 0.4k more than last year's. Okay, so everything is done, just little bit changes. What I will be doing, I will be adding some up and down arrow which make our dashboard really interesting. So what we will do is that we will be going to you can check on the internet and you can find the up and down arrow, although I have added this up and down arrow. So let's go ahead and kind of check. Okay, Power BI KPI up and down arrow. Okay, so you can go to any website, you'll be able to find out this up and down arrow in pretty much this website, which is called Datasets SQL. I think I need to check if in case, yeah, this is the arrow, up and down arrow, what do you need to use. So for up we will be using this arrow, for down we will be using this arrow. Okay, for empty one we will just keep it. So what I will be doing is that first I will go to this revenue one, and when I am saying that if it is more than last year's, after that I will be adding one more concatenate here, and I'm going to just put this, which is called up arrow, when it is more. Okay, now I'll need to use a concat sign. So that this is, if in case it is more, it is just putting an up arrow. So here I will be adding a space after this year. Okay, because I need to do that, and I will be using this parenthesis, which is, so for this parenthesis also I need to use inside the double quotes each parenthesis. Okay, and here I would need to also add a concat sign and to make this parenthesis work. Okay, so, or I can just do it this way. Let's say inside this, instead of adding this like this, I add this way. Okay, but I would just want to do this way. Okay, so I think this is going to work fine. So what I'm doing is that I'm just adding an up arrow using concatenate, adding another text with this one. Okay, same way I will be doing for the down arrow as well. So let's go ahead and select till here to here, and where it says less than last year, after this I would be using kind of add a concat, and here I'm going to get the down arrow sign, which is going to be this one. Okay, so this is the down arrow sign. So let's go ahead and put the down arrow here. Okay, so down arrow, up arrow, like the problem is solved. So let's go ahead and kind of save it. I think the format looks fine here. I just need to add one space, that's okay. Let's go ahead and check. We did it for the revenue. Now if you select the revenue one instead of this, you will be getting kind of a up arrow at the end. Okay, so it is saying less, you see it's a down arrow. Okay, when it is up, it is going to give you the up arrow, you can see, right? So for revenue is done. Now we're going to do the same for kind of which is called the profit one, right? So let's go to the profit one, and here I just want to add a down arrow. If in case this is down, so I would just put the arrow here, and I'm going to just use this double bracket sign, and I would use the parenthesis, and I would just get a space here. Okay, so same way I would just do it here as well also, before this comma, and I would just use this double brackets parenthesis, and here I'm just going to add this end sign, need to add a space, and here I'm just going to get this up arrow. Okay, so this is fine. For no cell we do not want to show anything, so we will just keep it as a blank. Okay, so this is fine for profit as well, we can verify it. Okay, for the profit as well, let's check this one, and let's check it for profit. Okay, so for the profit, up arrow is fine. If you see this one, no sale, that is fine. This is also showing more. Okay, fine. So I think here we have more, here we'll also have more. So I think the profit here is only down, so you see the down arrow, right? So this is how it verify that when it is kind of less, it is showing down arrow. Now we just need for the quantity. So for the quantity I would want the same here. If it is, I would be adding a dash here, and I'm going to say end sign concat with this parenthesis. Inside I'm going to put this kind of up arrow, which I think I have already copied, so I'm just going to put it here, and here also I'm going to add a space. Now why I'm adding a space? So that it kind of gives one space, right? So I would just use this, and here I'm going to just use that, which is called the down arrow. So let's go ahead and get the down arrow and let's put it here, and this is where our project is done. Next we just need to do a conditional formatting, up and down everything is perfect, space is added. Let's quickly check for the quantity as well, and little bit of I think formatting is what it is missing. So let's check this for the quantity right now. And I know the video is maybe getting a long, but I really appreciate that if you're watching till here, and definitely you will be learning a lot of things as I said, and you may have already learned a lot of techniques, right? So you see when it is let, it is showing down, right? So this looks really cool. And next what I need is kind of little bit of color conditioning. Okay, that's it. So let's go ahead and do some more color conditioning here. And if you see here, it is kind of showing overlay out, so we would need to kind of do some conditional formatting. We do not want 3 decimals, we just want kind of 1 decimal maybe. Okay, and here also I want kind of just 1 decimals, and here I will need the, it is in thousands. Okay, so let's select in thousands and 1 decimal, or you can keep it 2 decimals if in case you want, because we do have a space, so we can keep it 2 decimal, this one. Okay, now let's arrange this KPI, which is going to be here. I would be adding it, right? So let's make it small. We need to reduce the text size, so it's going to be Sugo light. You can use a Sugo semi bold or light, everything is fine. And let's change it, kind of call maybe 10. Okay, maybe kind of use Sugo semi bold, still fine. Okay, cool. Now background, we do not want any background, so let's go ahead and hide the backgrounds. Let's go ahead and say that the effect background I do not want. You don't see the text, don't worry, I will just color the text in some time. Let's select it, go to this and change the font to kind of 10% white. Okay, so no sale last year, 10%. And I think it is pretty much good. Let's kind of put it maybe here a little bit. Okay, in the middle. Now what I need to add some conditional formatting here. Okay, so the conditional formatting is going to be, when it is more, it should say green. When it is less, it should say red. If it is kind of no sale, it say white. Okay, it stay white. So for that you can just click on this FX, and you just need to add some rules here. So as this is a text, you cannot define kind of greater than, less than, but we can just define some contains. So if in case this contain, which is called more, okay, I think we have used something called more, we would be using a green sign. Okay, like this is the green one. And if it is kind of less, then we will be, if this text contain kind of less, we will be using, which is called a red sign. Okay, so the red is going to be this red, and the green is going to be like this green. Okay, so let's go ahead and check it. And if it is blank, we can just define it. If in case it is kind of no sale, so then we can define it white color. So one more rules, if it is kind of, let's say, contains no sale last year, then we would want to kind of keep it kind of the same, which is called white. Okay, 10% white. Let's go ahead and check. So right now I think we did not selected the condition properly. Let's go ahead and check. We are saying is contains more. I think all we have used small letters. Okay, and also less we have used small letters, and no also we have used small letter. Let's kind of check. Yeah, we have used small letters. So if you select it, you see it is kind of green, right? It's look really interesting. If in case you select it, it's green, it's green so far. If it is less, it is red, right? So this is what we want. So we will copy and paste it one more, and so you will just use it here as well. Here I'm going to just change it to kind of, instead of quantity, I'm just going to change it to, which is called profit, right? So this is the goal. So let's go ahead and drag the profit and put it here. So this is done, and let's copy it and put it here, which is going to be kind of the quantity one as well. Okay, so here I am just going to kind of drag the quantity one, which will be my KPI quantity. I guess this is the one. Yeah, let's drag it and replace it, the quantity. So let's quickly check. When no sale, it is kind of showing like this. When it is kind of more, it is kind of showing in green. If you see it here, it's kind of showing green. When it is kind of more, it is still staying in green, but here I think it is kind of, we need a little bit more size. That icon is kind of disabled because of multiple decimal points, so we can make it smaller a little bit. Okay, and where if you increase it like this, it is kind of showing like this. Okay, so what I want, I think I would just click and increase the size a little bit more, and from here to here, same way here also little bit more from here to here. Okay, same way also little bit more from to here. Okay, so let's check one more time. Okay, everything looks fine. Let's check for this. Okay, so cool. Now you can see this is looking really amazing. I think this is where our dashboard ends. Now I will just show you how you can publish this dashboard. For that you need to have a professional account. If you do not have a professional account, you need to kind of sign up with a professional account. You can use maybe some techniques, which is kind of get a professional email ID from anywhere, or maybe there are websites as well also from where you can get a professional account. And then you can kind of sign up with Power BI. You can get a 60 days free trial account, and you can maybe send me a text if in case you need some help in Instagram, and follow us also, and then you will be getting the professional account and you will be able to publish it in the cloud. So right now I think our project is completed. Let's quickly verify if in case everything is working. Let's clear out all the filters. So when nothing is selected, you can see that it is kind of staying, which is compared to the last years, the recent last years. Okay, if I select it, no cell, which is fine, it is also showing cool, right? If I am selecting it, it is also showing good, it is also showing perfect, right? Now what I want to do is that like little bit of interactions and also a little bit of more formatting. I think here we have so many decimal point, we would want to kind of reduce it to kind of 2 decimals point. Let's select this chart, and this is I think the last task that we will be doing, and it's already too long the video is, but I think it's going to be worth it. So let's go to the general data format and select this total revenue, which is selected. Let's select which is as a currency, and keep it kind of just 1 decimal. Okay, cool. And then I would just select this, which is total orders, which is whole numbers. I don't want to keep it in thousands. Quantity I can keep it same, and the profit as well also I will be changing it to currency 1 decimal, which is already I think, but I still don't think the profit is showing as a 1 decimal. So let's change the profit. So profit, okay, it is not selected, so we will say currency 1 decimal. Okay, so if you see the profit is also now 1 decimal. Now you can increase the width of this product, right, because you have a space. And here also I would just do something, and I think I would just kind of go ahead and select this. Okay, and this zooming the map is kind of making it kind of noise, I would say. From the map we will just remove the zoom. Okay, so we will go to kind of settings, and let's select the map, and we will remove the zooming. Okay, so I think I will just clear out all the filters. Okay, and go to map settings and turn off the zoom. Okay, because it's kind of making it ugly, right? So let's go and let's clear it out everything, right? Let's select a product, unselect it, everything is unselected. Cool. Now I think this formatting is done. Next what we want to do is kind of verifying it everything is in working and in place. And last one more thing which is pending, I think, which is the interactions. Okay, so when we are selecting any specific years, you can see everything is getting changed, right? If I select it, everything is filtering each other's. So we would want to hide few of the filter interactions, and I think this is what you can increase it a little bit more, because they are kind of showing in the same size, so make no sense. So we can just click this text, and maybe you can just change their little bit, increase the size. This is what I can do. So let's go ahead and kind of increase it to kind of maybe 13. Okay, this is also I will increase it to 13. This is also I will increase it to kind of 13. Okay, again that's on you. If in case you think it's looking too big, so you can decrease it. And also this also I think you can increase it a little bit more if you want, because now we have used a single decimal. So this is again the important part. We can just change it to kind of 33, right? This one also we can change it to 33 or 35. You can just check how you want to go about it. Okay, so I think 33 looks fine. Okay, now next we would just need to ensure few of the settings, which is kind of, if you are selecting region, so it should not filter out this map. Okay, and if you are selecting segment, it should not filter out this segment, and if you are selecting region, it should not filter out this region. Otherwise they will not look good. If you are selecting quarter, it should not filter out this line chart. So the related filters, we just need to kind of make sure that they are not filtering out each others. Okay, so because otherwise I will show you it is not going to look great. So let's go ahead and select maybe the region. Okay, if I'm selecting west, you see only it is getting one bar. So I would want to compare west with other as well also, right? So what I will do is that I would ensure that they are not filtering with each other. This is called basically interactions. Okay, and if I just select the segment, it is just going to select one segment. Okay, so if I am selecting kind of okay, here I have the regions, right, a quart, right? So let's select the segment, which is called segment. If I am selecting home, you see only one, this doesn't look good, right? So we would want to kind of ignore this because they are the related one, right? So we will just unselect it, which is called ignore. Let's go ahead and unselect it. Okay, let's click it again. Okay, here, this is what is being selected, and I would just unselect this as well. Okay, cool. Now for that, what you will need to do is that you need to go to kind of format, and that is called edit interactions. And before that, let's go to the here and make sure this background is kind of hidden, otherwise you would not be able to click it. So we would hide from the regions. Okay, you can just select the regions and you get this kind of icon. You can disable it if in case you want not to filter out by another. So select this one, go here and hide this one. We do not want it to filter this. And the second one is that select this regions and make sure this is not being also filtered out by the regions. Okay, because they are related. For the category, we do not have anything, we will keep it. For the quarters, I would just ensure this is not been filtered out by the quarters. And for this subcategory, we will keep it as it is. And I think segment, what I just need to do last one more and hide it out. Now if I just select any segment, you would see everything would be filtered out, but this segment is not going to be filtered out, right? So this is what we wanted, right? So let's go ahead and kind of clear it out. Same way, if I am selecting kind of any regions, you would see that the bar chart is not going to be filtered out. I mean, it is still being filtered out, so that means we did not select it rightly. So again, I will select the bar chart, and I think this one is kind of, maybe this is the one that you see. So we need to kind of select that, which is called this total revenue. Okay, for this total revenue, we need to hide it, and whatever you have above, so you just need to kind of make sure, maybe drag it little this side. Okay, for just now, and then just select this, which is called regions. Okay, let's select the regions, and you need to kind of hide this one. Okay, so this is hidden. Let's verify it. See, everything is filtered out, but that is not filtered out, right? So this is what we want to do. Let's go and let's put it in the same place where it was earlier. Okay, I think it looks amazing. It is already great. Let's go ahead and save it, and we are going to publish it. Okay, now I will just hide it, and let's quickly one more time check everything, if everything is in place. And I think so. Let's select 2020, we are getting everything. 2021, we are also getting everything. 2022, we are also getting everything. 2023, we are also getting everything. Unselect, filter it out. Okay, the zoom is also working. Okay, so we created what exactly we had. I think this tooltip is also working fine. You also have tooltip here. Here we do not need tooltip. Here also do not need tooltip. Here also we do not need tooltip. Here also we do not need tooltip. So everything is perfect as it is expected. And here it is looking little big, but I think we want to keep it same as it is. Even if you want to increase the size, you can increase. I think I'm still not satisfied, so I will just change it to 35. Okay, let's change it to 35, and let's also change it to 35, which is called 35, and let's publish it, and then we will check on the internet. Okay, so how does it look like in browsers? So I'm going to just save it, and I'll just need to click on this publish button. That's it. So I did save the file, and I do have my professional account connected, so I can publish it. And because here you cannot view it properly, so it's better to publish it. So the name is going to be Costco sales R2, which is what I need to find in the cloud. Okay, once it is published, then I will be accessing it and using this link, and I will show you how does it look like. Okay, so this is where I have this dashboard, which is here published. Let's go and check it as a full screen. Okay, And finally we created, guys, thank you so much if you're still watching it. And if you have stuck anywhere, you can maybe definitely reach out to me. Whenever I get your message, I will definitely help you to kind of build something this, and you can completely include this in your resume. So let's go ahead and first check one specific years, 2020. So it says that no sale last year. Now we are using browser, you can see Google Chrome what we are using. Let's select 2021, and you can see it is showing that which is more than last year. So if you see in the last years we had kind of 448k sales, and if you select 2021, it is kind of little bit more, so 0.4k more. If you see here also profit also little bit more. 2022 it is still more, everything is more. If you select 2023, everything is more. In 2024, because it is still running, so it is kind of little less than the last. I think we are still behind the last years, because last year we did 700k, and in this year we are doing less. Okay, cool. We have verified these filters, clear it out, and you can see everything is gone. Let's see if in case I can filter everything. Yes, using this I can filter everything. I can zoom in and analyze it where we achieve target for this category, consumer category, or where I achieve for corporate, right? So for corporate, you can see here we have achieved. This green one is basically the revenue target, right? Here I have the product which is in the corporate that is making loss, which is called iPhone 11, where we have losses. And if you see here as well, also the best selling product would be something like this one, which is called whatever it is. You can just read it out, and if you just click it one more time, this is the loss making product. Again, for the revenue, you can check this. It's going to assign in it is going to basically order it ascending and descending by the revenue. And for the orders also, you can assign it ascending and descending. I think the least is 34 for this product staples, and the highest is kind of, which is, I think least is 1, and the highest is 34 orders that is done by this product. Okay, so you can select the specific map like this one. If you see here, it is showing California highest sale. We want to filter it out. If you see for the California, different locations and how much the sale is, right? Next we will see this filter pan, and it is perfectly coming out, and you can see that you have these options. Now just we see one problem, which is this layout is coming here, which we do not want. We want this to be in the backend, so we will do that and fix that later on. So this is fine. You can see we are able to filter by the quarter. Cool. We are able to also filter by the category, also cool. And we are able to filter by the regions. Let's check. Okay, and we're also filter by the ship mode. You can check which ship mode is doing well, right? So cool. And we're also able to filter by the segment. Okay, now just one quick fix. What we need to do is that this is coming which is in the slicers. We will hide this. Okay, so I think everything else is perfect. Let's go ahead and do that one quick things which we need to do. That is just this alignment. Okay, if you just click this 3 KPI that you see, we do not want it to kind of before they filter, so I will just group them together, and I'm going to name it called KPI card up down, ups and down. Okay, and I'm going to drag it, which is after the filter pen. So here I have the filter pen, just I'm going to pull it after the filter pen. Okay, so right now it is going to be fixed. That problem is going to fix. Let's just publish it again, and it is going to definitely save it. Then we will be publishing it. Okay, and then we will verify it. I think it is already good, so I will just go ahead and kind of check it. Give me a second. Yeah, it is published. Okay, let's go ahead and say got it. Let's check the link, refresh it again, and let's check it again, right? So refreshed, we will go to which is called publish actual screen. Let's select the filter pan, and right now if you see, it is not coming, right? So we did fix that by just ordering and sending it to the back. And I think if you see here this quarter, when I'm selecting the quarter, okay, here it is kind of filtering this year, so we should be kind of ignoring that because it doesn't look good, right? So the last one more task, I think we will just unselect this and this together. That's kind of causing the issues. So let's go and let's do that again. So I'm just going to say this one and go to like which is called format. I mean, let's first open the filter pen, and we do not want this quarter to filter out, right? So let's first blur the background for the filter pen, hide this. so that I can click this, right? Click this, go to format, interactions. I do not want it to kind of filter out this, right, which is called this pen, right? Let's first click this. Here I don't see that. Let's click again. Okay, this one I think I do not want to filter it out, right? That's maybe this one. Let's check. Yeah, this is the one I do not want to filter out. Okay, and I have noticed like the map is also filtering this region, so the map I do not want to filter by these regions. Okay, so if I'm selecting map, it is still doing filter. Cool, I think we will be able to again drag it a little bit down and then select the map. And if you see this one, I just need to hide it. Okay, let's put it back again where it was. Okay, everything is fine. Let's save it. Let's publish it again. Last one more time. Again, as I said, when you publish it, you need to change, kind of verify it 1 or 2 times to ensure everything in place. So I think everything looks great right now. This is going to be my final publish. Okay, so let's go and let's publish it, and we're going to kind of, I'll show you how you can include this in your resume. So we will go to, okay, got it. Let's go here and let's go to refresh. And I think right now everything is solved. So let's select a quarter. It's not filtering out. Okay, cool. Let's select regions. It's not filtering this chart. That's great. Okay, now public it. To publish it, you can just click on this, which is called file, and there is options called publish to web. Okay, now this will be only enabled if you have this control panel. In the control panel, that is called publish to web enable, right? So you need to say publish to web enable. Okay, which one? Publish to web enable. These 2 functions has to be enabled, and you can just refresh it. After some time you will be able to publish it. And to use the map chart, which I have used in this which is called this project, so to use this map chart, this will not be supported for your version if you are not having this professional account. And even if you have the professional account, you need to go to the settings and you need to turn it on. So if you go to this setting and options, go to these options, and here you have something called visual map. Okay, so you need to turn this on, which is called visual map from the 10 and 10 settings. Okay, so you can find out, it is somewhere I think here, which is called visual map. This one, map use map fill map visuals. Okay, this one you need to turn it on. Also from the settings you would have map. Okay, you can even turn it on from here as well also, which is called use field map. Okay, this must be enabled. Once these 2 things are enabled, you will be able to publish your project and use the map as well. So let's go ahead and kind of publish it, and I'm going to include this link so you can kind of just explore it and share your thought about it. So let's say publish to web, and I'm going to kind of include this link. So this is the link that I need to use if I need to access it. So let's go ahead and see now if in case it is working. So I'm in the incognito mode, you can see, and everything is working, right? So let's click it, and if you see it is giving me task, let's click the quarter. I am able to analyze it without logging in, and I'm clicking in this one. I'm also able to analyze it, right? So everything is working. I'm selecting this, right? Cool. So that's it. I think that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching the video till the end. You can share your thought about this project in the comment box. If you have any suggestions, do mention that in the comment box. I will see you soon. Take care. Bye bye. Have a good day. See you.